happy Thanksgiving to everyone who celebrates. Welcome to Face the Music. I am Caraisamime, and today we're going to be talking about the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV. Super excited to showcase this on my show. It is one of the most important games that I've ever played for my own personal enjoyment, and I'm just so happy that we found a way to showcase it. So we're going to be doing something really, really cool, which is it's an extreme boss rush for basically as far as we can get with 1 to 2 people. Basically, this is going to showcase a ton of different tracks in the game, but it's barely scratching the surface for all the different musical, emotional elements that happen throughout the entire game. This game's been going on for 10 years, so we will go on the adventure with it. We're going to start from A Realm Reborn, and we're going to go up to Shadowbringers, which is the expansion before the last one that just came out. That one. Whatever that number is, it's that one. And we will showcase some cool stuff. So, without further ado, I'd like to throw it over to my lovely friend Varin, who's going to be taking on these extremely, extremely cool, extremely fun fights.
Hello. Hi, I'm Varin. I play this game a lot. Too much, to be quite honest. And I think it's really fun to do the extremes, and I like a lot of the music in this game, and when Kara pitched this to me, I was like, yeah, let's go. So a couple things before we really just get into it. This is obviously an MMORPG. You can play with other people, you can play with lots of people, you can play with very little people, you can play by yourself. A lot of these are going to be by myself until we have a friend joining us later to do some of the harder fights. You can play as any class in this game. You don't need multiple characters like you do in other popular MMORPGs. You mostly just need one character, and you can play every class in this game. So you're going to see me switching classes a lot. You're going to see me playing on a healer, you're going to be playing on a DPS, and you're going to see me playing on a tank. Depending on what the fight calls for. A lot of these earlier ones, I'll just play whatever I want because they're very low. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to do something called a unrestricted party, which means when we go to queue into these fights, we will not be restricted to the level that it says. So on the side here, it says level 50, but my character is level 90, so we'll just go in immediately, just instantly knock it to nothing. It'll pretty instantly die. For some of these, I'll probably, for the cooler tracks, I'll probably not instantly kill them. We'll play around a little bit, we'll listen to some of the music, but a lot of this music in this game is really, really cool, and a lot of these songs are actually going to tie into other songs, so we'll kind of just explain that as we go. So we'll just, I guess technically the timer can start when, if there is even one. I didn't even ask if you do a timer. Yeah. I assume you do. I assume all of them do. We can start it when I hit commence in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Poof. First we have Garuda. So in A Realm Reborn, a lot of the story is based around the primals. And you have Garuda, Titan, Ifrit, Leviathan, Rama, Shiva. There's also Great King Mogomog, and then you eventually face Ultima. So a lot of these are going to be their base songs, and they're going to have a little bit of a twist on them for when you encounter them later in later expansions. But a lot of these songs are just really cool, and a lot of these songs are also replayed again in some of the Ultimate fights, which are also really cool. But Garuda, the song is called Fallen Angel, and it just has a lot of ambiance to it, I think. I really like this song. This is one of my favorites. This is why I haven't started it yet, but I like this song a lot.
I definitely agree. It's funny, they say most of the lyrics are in English, and when you farm fights so much, you kind of forget what the lyrics are supposed to be. So my brother and I joke that when it kicks in, it says "now fall." My brother always says "bok choy," and that's just how the fight goes.
That's really funny.
One thing that's also really cool is when you get the mounts for these, the mount music is actually the track that's playing, so you can do all your stuff while listening to the music as well. Yeah, this fight takes 30 seconds.
I have prolonged it by a long bit.
Yeah.
They instantly die. I'm also going to take all the loot because I'm going to desense it, so...
Okay.
No one can contest me for it. I'm doing it by myself.
Yeah, I mean, are your poetics capped out, too? Because,
that's a great question. No, they're not, but it doesn't matter. You don't earn them when you unsync content, so that's the other thing about, doing an unrestricted party is you don't get the loot for it, so a lot of these are really just for fun. There's also something in this game called Wondrous Tales, which you can do once a week. It resets every Tuesday. That can give you a bunch of XP, and you can earn different kinds of rewards and stuff. But so a lot of these fights are on them, and so you will unsync them, you'll kill them really quickly, you'll go to reset the fight, and then you just do it 9 times over. So if you like to do Wondrous Tales to level, you'll see these fights a lot, to be quite honest. Titan's another really good one.
So there's 3 different tracks in this one, and it's gonna take 30 seconds to kill as well. So this is already the second
changes.
one.
It's already changes the weight of his will, so... I'm just gonna let my dot take down and we're just gonna listen to music. He can't kill me, like, unless he knocks me off the platform. No, you can get chucked,
yeah.
I'm not gonna die.
Yeah. Okay.
You do have to slap his heart though, so that's...
Okay, so for this track, what do you think the lyrics are actually saying?
I have no idea.
Okay, because I'm always like, it's like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh. That's like what I do. And
it says something and it says Titan.
Okay.
That's as much as I know, really.
And the rest of it is keep it that's what I sing.
I have listened to this song a lot in the Weapons Refrain.
Yeah.
Which is an old song. I've listened to the song a lot because there's a lot of Titan prog, and I have no idea what that song is. I think it's really cool.
It's also interesting because it was in Theorhythm. Like when Theorhythm came out, I think it was the last, not the one that came out this year. The one that came out previously was only the Realm Reborn tracks. So like that was like one you could do all the time too. So it was like another way of like playing music all the time.
I'm a big fan of Theorhythm. I have it on 3DS and it's really fun. I haven't gotten the new one because I'm very lazy.
Yeah, I agree. I bought it and I was like, there's all the 14 tracks. That's all I need in it. I was very happy. This music is only okay. I feel like it's very 14 generic. Like, big fight. Ooh.
I like
as opposed to, yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that the BGM was set to 100. I was like, he's set to 100. So what's really cool about Ifrit actually is you see that he has the invincibility thing here, but actually he is still targetable to reapply your dot onto, which is actually really unique because after A Realm Reborn, they changed it to where you can't... Oh, he jumped away, cool. They change it to where if something is invincible, you cannot apply dots or anything like that to it. So I would say that's something really cool and important about Ether. His music, the ambiance to his music, I think is just really cool.
It is, but it's not like one of the harder hitting tracks for Extreme. It's just, vibes.
The fight itself is actually really cool. If people have an opportunity to just do it sync, to do it like legitimately, definitely just put up a PF and do it. They're really fun. So actually, we're not going to do Thorn March yet. We'll go to Leviathan. We'll do the primals first, and then we'll come back around to Thorn March because that one I think is really silly and fun.
Yeah, it changes the vibe.
It does. It drastically does, and it's very whiplashy. Like if you did it in the order of
So the way that a lot of these fights come out is you have your initial release of the expansion, and then you have gradual updates over the next year to 2 years. And so there's like a first half of the game which like comes out with the expansion like day 1, and then you have like the second half of the expansion which comes out in little bits and parts. So you can kind of see like where the fights come in and the vibe like changes. So like you can see what's supposed to be story and what's like post like I guess like main plot.
I did do that early enough, we're good. So you actually are supposed to turn on an elemental converter there, and he will destroy... I have to turn to see where he is. I'm trying not to make anybody motion sick, but... he will destroy part of the arena on top of... He will do something that will instantly kill you if you don't turn the thing on.
Wow, we listened to 10 seconds of that
seconds
track?
of it. I can do it.
Wow. Okay.
I didn't think a size was gonna kill him immediately. But... I didn't think it was going to kill him immediately, but that track is actually really cool, so I'll go back in because I want to hear it.
It just says Leviathan over and over again, but that's...
It's really good. I do like Wreck to the Seaman, which is the opening track here.
Yeah.
I think it's really good.
You and Ray both have a very good. Ray is our friend that's gonna come on afterwards. You have a very, very good memory on specific names of things, and I'm very jealous because I don't have that memory.
I will ruin the magic for you. I actually looked up all the tracks and wrote them down.
No, that's fine. That's great. Thank you. So you have a nice list. Okay. But, I mean, I'm also jealous because I'm not that encyclopedia person, and my brother is also that encyclopedia person. So I'm just always, like, describing things like, that thing, and you know the one that happened, like, after that one, and the one that goes like this is basically, like, how I describe things all the time.
So the track is now called Through the Maelstrom, and I like it. It's bomb. And what's really cool is the fight also has, there's 2 effects on the head and the tail. One reflects magical attacks and one reflects ranged attacks. So if you were doing this normally, which you can get mental roulette, and I have gotten mental roulette many times, you can hit the wrong body part and essentially it reflects all the damage back to you and can just kill you within a couple of hits if you're just not paying attention. So it always gets people new to the game. They'll hit the wrong one and it's like, no.
Okay, murder time.
Well, once he becomes not invincible.
Yeah.
He has phases, so that's why we usually kill him very quickly. He will become invincible, and he has certain things he has to do, and they're forced to go through. So a lot of the earlier fights are very scripted, where once they hit certain HP thresholds, they will have to do mechanics and continue to do them until they die. But it is going to be a very long time until he becomes startable, so I'm going to jump in. I'm going to
Goodbye, we already saw it, we did it, it's fine.
I'm going to KO myself to not let us do this, because he takes forever, but I like that track a lot. I like through the
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
good track. Very good track.
One thing I think that they really do really well with A Realm Reborn is introducing mechanics to you as a new player. Like, a lot of these fights don't have the same type of mechanics. Like, there's always gonna be stuff on the ground that you have to avoid, but, you know, it's like targeting different things becoming, you know, like, invincible and all that stuff, so. And you'll see then they just like, hey, you should have learned by now. When we get to some of the other extreme fights, they're like, nope. So this is one of the only tracks that's actually in Japanese. I don't know why most of the tracks are in English, because I think it's supposed to be like a not, if they wanted to make it not Japanese, like exclusive. You know, it's a worldwide game. But yeah.
I like the way it builds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stand here and take it. Oh, that didn't actually defeat him. Okay. That was wild. I'm used to it always instantaneously defeating them. That was wild. And there's a lot of these fights. Like, as you can see, I have to scroll. So all of these are what we call the normal versions. And then if they are the hard versions, they do say hard next to them. There were no longer hard versions after Heavensward. I think Heavensward were the last to do hards. I think Stormblood doesn't have any hards now. So for Heavensward and Aroma board, there was hard versions of some of these fights, and then there would be the extreme versions. But for later expansions, it was just the norm, what we call the normal version, and then the EX version, which I think is really cool. So Shiva, one of the coolest fights in this game. If you can do this synced EX, please do it. It's really fun. But watch me
so
tear it open.
My story behind this one was this fight got me into playing 14. There was one of the infamous PAX challenges at PAX East. I don't remember what year it was, and this was the fight that we could try out. My brother and I tried it out, totally lost, but we walked by it and we saw how the music kicks in. We were just like, what is this game? Like, I had heard about it. I knew that, like, the original 14 was not great, but, like, I'm looking at this fight and it's just like, what is this? And specifically, I think the second track is what got me into it.
I also think that this is a very pretty arena. Like, just this arena is so beautiful, and her fight is really cool. But I put a dot on her. I actually have no idea when she's going to, but we're just looking at her and we're jamming. There she goes.
Man, I was getting goosebumps listening to it again though. Like, remembering.
Oh, wow.
Oh no, you can't get the mount.
The mount whistle.
Yeah.
I mean, I have all of the mounts from all the EXs, except for a couple of the Endwalker ones. So like, I don't need it, but I always think it's really funny when it drops.
Yeah. Yeah, I was definitely getting goosebumps again listening to that song, remembering like how I felt the first time. I was just like, what is this? The coolest fight ever. Okay, so here's Moogle.
So this track is called The Seven Gestures, and it's not as cool as when the song transitions, but I think it's really silly and really fun. I also just like looking at this fight and looking at this arena without all the stuff on it.
Yeah.
I have a hotkey that just turns all the stuff off for me. But this is so fun. Oh, okay, well, he died.
Yeah, that was surprising. I just remember, like, anytime I would get roulette for this, everyone would be like, no! Oh, it's the worst! Because, you know, a couple expansions back, like, you actually had to know the mechanics and you have to separate all the little guys from the big guy, or else the fight goes on forever. And people just, like, didn't really know the mechanics when they went in. They were just like, no! Okay, this
Yeah.
fight's gonna last 10 seconds?
Something like that. I can make it last a little longer, but, like, I am a big fan of this song. I'm a big fan of fighting Ultima. I have defeated Ultima in every iteration in this game. So I've cleared, you know, the weapons refrain. I have cleared this. I've cleared this sync. This is a fun fight sync. I've done the Unreal when this was an Unreal. There was an Unreal version of this fight. I've done like any time that there is Ultima in this game, I've defeated it. So I have a fun just like love-hate relationship with Ultima. Hello, bud. How's it going?
One of our fun little things we like to do is we like to see if we can kill Ultima before the music kicks in, and that was something we used to be able to do when it was part of a bigger raid. And you're just like, oops, sorry, buddy.
I wish I could take the dot off of him to see. I think he is actually going to die for the music. transitions, which is going to be upsetting. We're gonna go back. We're gonna go back in because we gotta listen to it. We gotta listen to it. It's very good.
Yes. And what's really cool is this theme plays in various different, every time Ultima shows up or a various form of Ultima shows up, this theme plays, and it's so cool.
It's very good. We will not hit you with a dot, buddy. We'll just... let's knock him a few times so he doesn't hit. So what Ultima's actually doing, you'll see the primals we already defeated. So you're going to see Garuda, you're going to see Titan, you're going to see Ifrit. So basically, Ultima is siphoning their... Oh! There we go. He's going to do Ifrit here in a second then. I didn't get him low enough to consume Ifrit immediately. So there he goes. So he's basically consuming them and is going to be taking their powers to use against you. I get like the shakies every time I see Etheric Boom because it's so much harder in other fights, and in the Unreal and in the Ultimate fight they're very scary, very, very scary. Ooh, that was a bad camera angle, my bad. The ship flew in and just completely covered the whole screen. I was just like, oh, come on, buddy. Do I have to cover this? I might have to cover this. That might be fine. There it goes. I don't know. Will I get 5 stacks? This is some Theroplasm. This is a cool track. Also, we'll get to hear Ultima the Primals later for one of the last fights we're gonna do, and it will be a longer, more full version of this song. It's very good. Ultimate's a very good song. It just takes a very long time to pick up because a lot of these songs are written with the mindset that you're going to be spending a lot of time in them and they will loop several times. So they want to have a build to them to where you're doing some of the mechanics and you're getting to the hard parts and then it builds and you're like, you're doing something very, I guess, maybe not hard, but maybe more technical while the music builds and it's supposed to build to the experience. But then you walk in here and you just hit them and you're like, all right, now I have to wait because I want to hear the good parts. And it's always really funny. So to tie up a Realm Reborn, we're actually going to dip our feet into 2 of the raids. So the raids for a Realm Reborn were a little different than they were in Heavensward going forward, in which I believe the dev time for the first sets of these fights, which is the Binding Coil, the second coil, and the Fighting Coil. For the first one, you'll see that there's 5 turns instead of 4 for all the rest of them. And if you scroll down here, there's only Savage versions of the second set, which is T6 through 9. So they're really interesting. 2 of the ones that we wanted to highlight that I think are important for a Realm Reborn and important for the music are going to be Twintania, which is going to be Binding Coil, Bahamut turn 5. And then we're going to do Nail, which is technically second coil turn 4, but I'm going to do the Savage version of that one because I think that one's cooler. And we will be forced to sit through the music for this one because I can technically whittle her down really fast, but the music won't transition. But if you wait for the music transition, then you have to sit through all of her dive bombs. So we're just going to go down here and listen to the music.
One thing that's different about these fights, and they do a little bit with Alexander too, is that sometimes you have to go and kill ads as like how they made them first, which they just like cut it down and they were just decided like, okay, like there's no point in doing anything besides like doing the actual fight.
Oh no, I did actually kill her. Never mind.
Look at your achievement. Okay.
I haven't done this fight. I've done this fight, I think, quite a few times.
Well,
they're there's a setting. I'm gonna go back in and play the music. There's a setting you can do where you turn everything to minimum eye level, no echo, which means you're doing it as Heidelin intended. It's close to as Heidelin is intended when it was current, because there has been like several times where they've balanced and rebalanced some of the stats in the game, both for boss HP and your own abilities and HP and stuff. So it's not quite there, but it's the closest you can get organically in the game. But apparently I have defeated it 10 times now, so go me. We're gonna not instantly defeat her, and we're gonna listen to Thunderer, because this is a good track. I'm a big fan. I'm not gonna put a dot on her also. We're gonna get her really close to... I'm afraid to do any more damage. There we go. Where is she? Oh, you just don't do the dive bomb? You don't take damage? That's wild. I didn't know that. I normally just kill her. Or just move out of the way of the dive bomb. So that's real wild. I wish it worked this way in UCOB. It does not, unfortunately. I'm currently progging one of the ultimates in this game that has Twintania in it. She's the opening fight in the unending Coil of Bahamut. And she's really scary. She does a lot of damage.
Yeah, do you want to talk a little bit about what progression looks like and what your experience is with your free company and how often you play, I guess? Yeah.
I play a lot. I have a lot of playtime in this game. I will not hit /playtime because people are gonna look at it and be like, "What's wrong with you?" I know I have a confirmed over 5,000 hours on this character alone, but ooh, she did one of them. That's fine. I just play this game with friends, and I have a lot of fun with it. I'm into Ultimate Statics. My Savage Static just finished. We just finished a couple weeks ago. We're done for the tier, which basically means that we have no more fights to do. No one can see it, but Ray just put their total playtime on their character in the chat. I'm sitting here like, okay, mine's not quite that high, but it's definitely getting up there.
Oh no.
It's definitely getting up there. Neuralink? No Neuralink. Neuralink? No Neuralink. I love this song, but I also really hate this song.
Okay.
So in the Unending Coil of Bahamut, this is the song that plays when you battle Twintania is Thunderer. So you hear it a lot because in Ultimates you basically have a 12 to 15 minute long fight and you don't have a checkpoint. So I've been told I can say how much it is. It is 397 days. It is 9,500 hours. That's a lot. I have like 5,100, 5,200, something like that. Last I checked.
I'm pretty sure I only have 90 days, which sounds very small compared to all of you, but there it is. Okay. Bye, Dragon Lady.
Bye, Dragon Lady. So now we get the fun one. So I'm going to do this on... Let's do this on Red Mage. So the next one is going to be Nail. So I mentioned like a minute or so ago that the second coils all have Savage versions of them. It is almost exactly the same as the normal one, except for there are going to be a couple of added mechanics, and some of the mechanics are going to be harder and hit a little harder. I just like this one because I think it's more of a challenge, and there's some golems you have to put down in a certain spot so they don't tether together, but you're only one person. So you have to strategically place them in the right spot, and I think that that's pretty cool. So we're going to eat a food.
So this is the big boss for the original 14 before A Realm Reborn. And this is the fight that they added with the raid, so it's the same character that you are going to, you know, if you played the original game, this is the big boss.
And we're gonna get to see her a little later.
Yep.
I love Nail.
Yeah.
Big fan of Nail. Also, really, I think the song's really cool. I think Tempest is a really cool song. Come on. The way you're intended to do this fight, you are supposed to... Hopefully they did not tether together. Ooh, alright, we're good. They were a little too close. So the blue one can't be too close to the green one because they tether together, and the blue one grows giant. And then you can't win because they are indestructible. They have a region on them, they do more damage, and they take less damage. So even at level 90, even unsynced, even me having my full kit, I cannot defeat it. You just can't. You can't do it. Not solo, at least. I don't know if you can with multiple people or not. So we're gonna not stand in the Heaven's Fall, but hopefully not get knocked in the wall either. Not that Surecast does anything, but I stood in it. I stood too far in it. It's so hard to like stand in the right spot.
Yeah.
But I want to hear the music transition.
Yeah. But the point is that this is a fight that happened, well, like what, 10 years ago at this point? And it's still,
10 years ago.
Yeah, it's a lot of mechanics that you really have to keep track of.
I've done all of the coils and all of the savage coils synced minimum eye level no echo, and they're just so much fun. They're really cool fights. Like a lot of the mechanics in these fights are very unique at the time, and if you played 14 and you've watched the fights progress and you've gone and done like the main story quest, and even if you've played like Stormblood to Endwalker or Shadowbringers to Endwalker, you'll notice that a lot of the mechanics and a lot of the things you're doing are going to be very similar, or they're going to be variations of like old mechanics, and you go back and do some of the old mechanics, and they're just really cool. The creativity they had with, I don't want to say with zero care to the player base, but probably like they had less direction to them.
Yeah.
The mechanics are very complicated and very fun to do. You're supposed to put these like all of these meteors in certain places based on who gets what meteor, and it's like a song and dance. So everybody will get those markers I had above my head. Everybody will get those, and then you have to place them in certain spots, and certain things can't be too close to each other because you saw those rocks explode. They're not supposed to explode, but I can take the damage because it doesn't matter. I can do that. And then the golems are supposed to be set apart, and they have to be, the aggro has to be grabbed by tanks and moved apart. I just don't want to like accidentally get knocked in the wall again. I did this? Okay, cool. I don't even have to use my heavy hitting stuff. I can just do whatever I want. Raven's Beak. Oh no, this is a tank buster. And she's
goodbye.
Goodbye.
Sled Track was Rise the White Raven, and it will play. It plays several times. It's basically Nail's theme. Someone in A Realm Reborn likes to steal it for one fight. Don't know why, but we'll hear a version of it again.
It's still good though. It's a good song. And
yeah, it is. I don't know why he decided he wanted to steal it for the fight, but yes. Yeah. Okay. So that's A Realm Reborn. Those are the fights we wanted to showcase. It was all the extremes. So now we're gonna move on to the award-winning expansion, Heavensward.
Heavensward. We should probably just start with the most painful one. Probably Limitless Blue.
Okay.
It is painful because you are forced to sit through a lot of the mechanics, and you don't really have a choice because the game says, I am going to fly away and not be targetable for many moons. I have many ad phases. Have fun.
It was just very like a very flaccid first fight for Heavensward.
And as you might have guessed, the name of the song is Limitless Blue. It's a bop.
So, yeah. Rin, while we move through mechanics, do you want to talk a little bit about like how you yourself consume music, what role it serves in like your day-to-day life, like what your listening environment's usually like?
Oh wow, I love music. I listen to music every day. I'm a very like musically inclined person. I can't read sheet music to save my life, but I can play songs by ear. So if somebody were to play a song for me, I can play it back for them on piano, like just by listening to it.
Nice.
And I'm not sure if it's just straight up like I don't know, maybe autism thing, maybe possibly, but I like to listen to some songs for days on end. So I will listen to like one song for like 3 or 4 days. And a lot of what I've done for a lot of the fights that I've learned in this game when I do either Savage or Extremes is I will play a song that's like not even in the video game. I'll just mute the BGM and I will listen to one song to learn a fight. So when I listen to that song again, I will remember the fight.
Will it be like muscle memory for like what your hands are doing, like your rotation and stuff too, when you listen to the song?
Kind of to a degree, and I can tell when my rotation changes or when like I need to do something different based on the song. So I remember, oh, this part in the song, oh, I need to do this thing differently or whatever. And I've just kind of been like that my entire life. I do that for speedruns too. So like when I learned Castlevania Lament of Innocence, I listened to In the Shadows by the Rasmus, and that was the song that I learned to play the game to. So like now whenever I listen to that song, I just like start going through the speedrun in my head every time. So I love listening to music. It's my thing. And it's really interesting because my partner isn't a big music listener.
No.
They do sometimes, but and it's really funny because we just drove back from vacation this past Sunday, and it was a 3.5-hour drive home. So for like the first hour or so, I was so tired that like I didn't put the radio on or anything, and they were content with that. And then I was like, oh, I kind of want to listen to music or do something. And they were just like, it's okay, we don't have to. It's like, well, we've been sitting in silence for the past hour. They're like, that's okay. And I'm like, that's not okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm a huge car listener. So like what happens is like my mom, when I'm driving with her, she'll be, we'll drive like 20 minutes or whatever, and she doesn't put music on or whatever, and it bugs me so much because I'm just like, this is ample time to be listening to music. It should be playing right now. And yeah, I'm a big car listener. I have various different. There's some stuff I listen to headphones, like I have a Bluetooth speaker, I have a really nice speaker system, I have a record player, all that stuff. It just depends on the mood and like what you want to listen to. But that's really cool it's really cool that you pick one song, one track to like keep yourself grounded for learning something. So it's like distracting you, comforting you, and then you're knowing your cues based on that too.
Oh no, you disabled the dragon killers because
I haven't seen this in a while.
Oh, that's fine. We get to listen to Whoa, That Is Madness more.
Yeah, Whoa, That Is Madness.
It is in fact madness. It's the name of the track. It transitions halfway through the fight. You'll kind of see the sky start to change. The weather will also change in the game. It'll change to thunderstorms. The song is to change. It's a very good track. For as awful as this fight is to sit through, it's a very good track.
It's just you don't do anything.
Primal Tears, that's gotta be some DLC. I have not seen that in a while. By DLC, we mean things you don't normally see if you were to unsync the fight. We call it DLC content because it's like, oh, things you don't normally see. We are adding content to the video game. Dragon Killers are ready.
Yeah, ideally you want to do this. The fastest you can do it is 2 Dragon Killer hits. So we already have one. Oh no!
Really annoying. I don't like to do this fight very often. This fight is painful.
You need to run next time.
Well, I popped sprint after I hit the first one, but I guess we're just balling. It's
because you're not doing it. You're not doing it left to right. You're doing it right to left. It's clearly wrong.
I guess I'll start left. It's a little balloon bombs. They drop in random places, and they are like right next to it. And it's just like one of those. If I do not hit it the second that like the thing ends up on the ground, I don't get a choice for anybody. We're gonna start on the left this time. My sprint comes back up in 10 seconds, so. Why not? Wowzers, 5,000 damage.
Run! Run!
Okay, we got it that time.
Yeah!
We just had to beat the battling bombs there. Not that they do much damage, but they do interrupt you, which is, you can't do actions in this game if you're interrupted, so. It wouldn't be a typical Rin run without messing something up, you know? That's my favorite.
Well, that's okay, because this is a boss rush, but we are, you know, the intention of listening to all the tracks.
And another mount.
Okay, we got 2 mounts so far, just in this run.
Tally that on the board.
Yep. Okay, so that was essentially the worst fight. I guess the worst fight because it's the most boring.
Yeah.
So now we'll just do some fun stuff. Like this guy that likes to yell at you all the time.
I love Ravana. This is one of my favorite extreme fights. I love when I get this adventure roulette.
Yeah.
People want to leave, and I'm like, no, let's go. I want to do this. This is really fun fight. The Hand That Gives the Rose is a great song. At any point, like, I think Richard should just be able to just, like, cut our voices out and just let the music play and nothing else.
Yeah, up to your discretion. Whenever you think, like, you don't want to listen to us.
You can actually just KO him before
Yep.
anything happens, but we're gonna let him do pre-move liberation. Just love this song.
I think his voice works so well with it, too.
Unfortunately, there's not much more to the song than that, so
Yeah.
hi, Rana. I just wanted to hear it loop once.
Yep.
It's a very short song. Very, very short song. Fatal copy of Unbending Steel. A lot of these fights will give, ignore my really messy inventory, I'm sorry. I've been collecting things as I've been, like, doing these fights and just not caring to, like, empty my inventory. But a lot of these fights will give these beta copies of a thing, and if you have an alchemist or a friend alchemist, or you just want to buy them on the market board, you can buy some of the songs that come from these fights. Which I think is really cool.
Essentially, yeah, they're all free to listen to, because a lot of them aren't actually totally available to listen like on Spotify or Apple Music. Like you have to wait for the album to come out. So if you get the orchestrion or you make the orchestrion, like that's a way you listen to it, like before the album comes out. There are, I don't remember how many albums there are. There's a lot. They come out every other. Yeah, so there's 2 per expansion at least, if not the remixes, all that stuff. Okay.
And then there's all the orchestrion versions of like when they do like the live orchestras and stuff, which I think are really cool.
Okay, we didn't go to Ishgard, so we don't have any like context for this, but that's okay.
Honestly, Ishgard's so big and there's a lot going on. So, the story of Heaven's Ward, in which, you know, like, if you haven't played it, it's been out for 8 years. Sorry, spoilers ahead. Basically, church bad, dragons good, and there's a lot going on here. So we have King Thordan and his Knights of the Round. This fight actually currently, if you play the game, you know that this is the current Unreal. Singularity Reactor Unreal is the current Unreal. It's a very good song, very good fight.
So what's playing right now is a version of the main Heaven's Word theme, which is so cool because this is like your big bad. This is of the main story of when the expansion comes out. You're just like, okay, it's time. This guy has done many bad things. Him and his squad need to go down. Very epic. Very, very scary man. Time to blow up his boys.
Yeah, a lot of this fight is going to be me just standing in things, and we're just waiting for transitions and music to transition. But the song's called Heroes Never Die. Very good song. If you've done this fight, if you're going to do the current royal, or if you've ever done Dragon Song Surprise, you will hear this. Smile emoji. I just have to do like a very minimal amount of damage before he transitions, because he's going to transition, and then we're going to fight his Knights of the Round. And fun fact, for the extreme here, he keeps his health in the transition. So if I were to get him to 0.1%, he stays that way after all the Knights of the Round. But in the Unreal, it does not work that way. His health does reset. So. I'm just gonna take one of these towers just for fun. You're intended to start in the middle. People have clock spots to spread to because they need to take the towers, because otherwise you get the paralyzed, etc., etc. We don't really care about that because he can't do enough damage to us. Sacred Cross here is an attack in which you're supposed to get Zephyrian's health down to a low percentage. We're going to go here. Northwest, southeast is safe. Because that's supposed to do a lot of damage to you. It did 182. These knights are going to cleave through certain parts of the arena based on the position that they're at. Northwest and southeast was safe there. These have to be burned down before they tether together. I think we have succeeded. If you play solo, it's not really too much. If you're on maybe like a healer or a tank class and you do not save what we call your 2-minute burst for this, they might tether together. You might have the stand here for a little bit, but usually it's not too bad. I don't know why I hit sprint here. Like I just for whatever reason my brain said you need to pop sprint because I'm so used to doing the Unreal. And so I was like, I have to hit pop sprint because what happens here is you stand in the middle and then you go out and they put ice cleaves on you and you're supposed to put them at different places, and I was like, oh, I gotta get ready for that. Which is this part here, but because I'm only one person, it will not matter. Now the fun part is, oh! It's so funny.
Sometimes when you get knocked into the wall, it's instant death. So sometimes it gets scary. You just forget which fights it is instant death on.
Very few they're not. This fight is one of them.
Yeah.
It just they set it to do 9s of damage, which I mean was
not enough.
Technically supposed to kill people, but it does not. So he just does a knockback here, but we're gonna do this, and we're going to turn on camera. We're just gonna let us do this, because I think this fits really cool. And you can see that there is the planet in the background. And you can, I'm gonna pan my camera a little bit. All the knights are summoned. I shall bury you when you're don't need any struggle. Thanks, bud. Thanks for the 8,000 damage. Big fan. Since he is level 60, it is technically a little chunkier, so I do kind of have to do a little bit of damage to him since I didn't in the opening.
You're staring at the eye. How dare you?
I know. I love heroes, so we're gonna wait a minute. We're gonna let heroes play for a second. It picks up there and it basically just loops around after that, after it picks up a little bit. The thing went off, so I'm paralyzed. I can't do anything.
Okay. There you go.
Big fan of this fight and big fan of that song. Beta copies of Heroes. You need a copy of Heroes, I guess. Hit me up. I can make it for you. I do have a level 80 Alchemist. I love that fight so much. I just kind of want to do it again so bad. Obviously, I'm not going to because we have other things to go through, but...
Okay, this is one of my favorite fights in the game. The Neho fight. It's genuinely terrifying. for a long time. Now, not so much, but story beat wise,
Dragon Song is one of the greatest songs in this game. And if it wasn't for the fact that we have a time limit, I would honestly sit here and just let the entire song play out and we would just like let it go. But A, I'm afraid about copyright, and B, we are on a time limit. So
when you smack Nikon a couple times, it stops playing, so it'll transition. So Dragon Song is one of the big vocal ballads. What's one of the coolest things is when you get to the story part where you're supposed to do this fight, you're basically put in a waiting room, like a very cinematic waiting room, like waiting to get your cue in. Like every time you come to like a big fight, and the big boss will be standing there, and you'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go. And this song's playing the whole time in this area that you will never be able to go back to. It's so cool. And they do that a couple times with some other fights too. It's a great way of going on about it. But yeah, this is one of the songs they play live all the time. If you've ever been to one of the concerts.
I turned the sound effects off because I think the song's really good. It's a very long song, and it does take forever to like pick up. But it's going to change to free fall here in a second. Here it goes.
Which is amazing.
Ray has reminded me that when the Washington Metro Gamer Symphony Orchestra did their thing here on Hotfix, they had a version of Dragon Song. I remember watching that, but honestly, I have ADHD, and so I never remember specifics about anything. But yeah, it was there, and it was Alamo. It feels really weird not to hear the sound effects, but also I didn't get to point this out, and I'll talk about it while we're waiting for all the transitions, and we get to hear Revenge of the Horde. That's good.
I'm just like getting goosebumps.
It's a very good song. I'm also really excited to learn Dragon Song's Reprise, which is all of these fights. You get to fight Nidhogg, Thornton, Petrix, actually.
Your Akmorn. Take it.
My Akmorn! It will genuinely do quite a bit of damage, so that's why I was like, I'm gonna put some stuff on this so I don't take as much damage, maybe.
It's so great that it is still scary. Oh, there you go, bye-bye. Yeah. That's one of my favorite fights. Yeah.
I didn't get to talk about it earlier, but you kind of have seen it as I've been playing. I have one of the accessibility options in the game turned on, which is called an audio visualizer. I use this because I have colorblindness/sight issues, and so actually sometimes it's really hard for me to tell where bosses are or to kind of perceive things that are going on around me. So this game has a really interesting way that it actually splits audio. So if you were to go out into a town and there were to be a bard around you, they can do something called performance, and they can play music. And this is usually the easiest way to actually see this in action. But if you face towards them, you will hear the audio coming from the bard in both sides of your ears. If you turn to the right, it'll be louder in your right, and if you turn to the left, it'll be louder in your left. So there's actually, like, natively in the game, the audio around you will come into you based on where it is coming from in the arena, like where the sound effect is going off in proximity to your character. So these audio visualizers on the sides of my screen down here, there's this little, like, I think it's like purple or something, is kind of moving. That's the BGM. The light yellow one is going to be sound effects, and there is a dark red one that is like system sound. So if someone were to send me a tell, or I were to get like mail or anything like that, that would light up. But it will actually show on the side, so you can actually tell if something's to your left or right based on those alone. And I actually do use those in fights. So I kind of realized we've been doing this for almost an hour, and I didn't explain why they're flashing color things in the bottom of your screen. They are an accessibility option. It is native to the game. It's not a modification. It is right there in the game. There's also different color blindness settings. So there's for like red, green, yellow, blue. things like that that you could turn on. You can also make these visualizers bigger or smaller, and you can also set the transparency option, so you can make them completely solid, or you can make them really, really transparent, like a whisper. So I think that's really cool.
There's huge accessibility options that they put into the game. One person I came in contact with at PAX last year was like almost completely like seeing impaired, and we was explaining how they play the game all the time, and it's so cool to just be like, yeah, I just hear it, like, you know, through different cues. Like, it's so cool to see a game actually like put so much effort into trying to get the game out to everyone. So we're starting we got some guys. We got 3 fights that use the same first theme, and then they go into another theme. This was like a post main story couple of fights that happened in Heavensward, and so they're all themed. You'll see that happen in some of the other expansions as well, where they're all kind of like themed and similar.
For these, they're called the Containment Bay. There's P1, P7. Honestly, I don't remember all the combinations.
So
when I was going through the story, I could.
Yeah, it's the Warring Triad from Don't Yell at Me. 6? Final Fantasy 6? I think.
I believe so.
Yeah.
6 is one of the only Final Fantasy games I've played once ever and never played again, so I don't actually remember.
If I'm wrong, then
yes,
yeah,
6.
you can take my gamer license away.
We have been told that it is Final Fantasy 6.
Yeah.
Yay!
Okay.
I played 6 once, and I played it because I knew some people in the FF6 speedrunning community, and I was like, I never played this, and they were like, you gotta play it. So I played it, and that was it. And this was when I was like 18. This is almost 10 years ago, so I do not remember anything about the game. To be real with you.
This song was stuck in my head when I woke up this morning.
Fiend is so good. This is such a good song. This also used to be.
Oh Lord! Yep, saw that coming.
I figured the towers were gonna kill me.
Yeah.
This is one of the containment bays are actually suck runs really hard. So
yeah.
Because you need to soak the towers and you have to be on the opposite side of the thing.
Yeah.
This fight used to actually be one of the Unreals, and it was really fun. This was one of the only Unreals that I actually did and farmed. I love this fight. It's very, very good. And the music will play again.
Yep.
I'll give him another wing, but I'm gonna be real, I think this was one of the only fights that I tried doing solo that I just was not having a good time on.
Yeah.
And I tried it on Dark Knight, wasn't enough damage. Doing it on Red Maid, not enough protection. It's like,
It's funny, I definitely got through it when I was trying these out too, but it took me, I think, like 3 times to do it. But yeah, as long as we get through, you know, we'll try it one more time, see how we do, move on. We get the gist of it.
A lot of these are very soloable and very for fun. I do this sometimes just for like my Wondrous Tales, that thing I mentioned earlier, but for a lot of these, you kind of just do them once, you just get them done, and you're kind of done with them, you never come back to them. So a lot of people will probably have seen these fights maybe once or so in the entire time they played the game. They'll probably have a bunch of their friends or people in their FC or anything like that, or maybe even in Party Finder. Just get together and take them through these fights unsynced, and I mean it's level 60. You take a couple of level 80s or even level 90s, and you know you're done. That's it. And a lot of people won't see this fight ever again. But I think it's really cool. There is the Unreal series, which I've mentioned a couple times. So what they will do is during certain times, once the main story of a game is over, and they did it in Shadowbringers, near the end of Shadowbringers, and they've done it during Endwalker, they will take some of these old raids, these old trials, and they will do what is called an Unreal version. So they will put them to the current max level, which is going to be level 90, and it's the same fight, same mechanics, they just hit a lot harder, and you have to, for some people, it is really honestly doing them for the first time. They didn't really do these the proper way at all, so I think it's really cool to go back and do them, and I did Sephiroth a lot. There are rewards you can get called Full Hollows, you do a puzzle called Full Hollows. And basically, you can earn really cool rewards for them, and it's the way that people entice to do it. Nah, okay. I didn't think it was gonna let me survive. That's all good.
It does get
really
is
fun,
pretty spicy. Yeah. So I think it's a great fight. Yeah, you spend a lot of time in this zone called Azizla, which is like an ancient zone up in the sky. We've heard some of the themes already from it. They've come up a couple times. It's got this really cool electronic music to it. As you can already tell, the music is all over the place different. Essentially, there was, I'll talk a little bit more about it after the break, but essentially there was only about 3 people that worked on, that were the main composers for Realm of Warren and Heavensward, and then part of Stormblood, and then the main composer just literally took over for the rest of it after that. And it's crazy how different all of them sound. And it's from essentially one guy. And it, yeah. Yeah, a lot of these fights have like a lot of ads. Like these 3 Warring Triad fights have like ads that you're supposed to take down in a certain order. You did that way faster than I did when I tried this again. I die on this fight all the time. I don't know what scales are. Just chuck me off the side. There you go.
Yep. I needed to be moving immediately, yep. And I just did not move immediately.
I did get a little nervous there, but you seem to be doing fine.
Yeah, the damage is not the problem. It's doing the scales immediately after.
Yeah. Because I thought she was going to telegraph it, but she really doesn't, like on the extreme for the first one.
I click this game also. Like, I have no shame. I do not hit buttons for anything, so I do not have an MMO mouse. So I literally don't care.
I feel like that's like more of a faux pas for like World of Warcraft and stuff when you're trying to like...
You will be surprised. There are people in this game that have opinions. So
no.
I think something that yeah, they're so fun. I love this fight. It's so fun. We're just here for a good time, not a long time, baby. Just for a good time. Something that a lot of people in this game will talk about, they'll be like, you know, this game has a great community, and for the most part it does, and its GMs tend to take the game pretty seriously. So like, if you report something, they're usually pretty good about giving people slaps on the wrist, because like, they take the experience of this game pretty seriously, and that like, if you're impeding people's experience and like enjoyment of this game, like, that's not cool. But there are definitely still people who have opinions, and Reddit is still a thing, so sometimes you will see people say some stuff. I just got rid of the first guy this time instead of...
Come forth, scales of revelation.
I have been told I can knock back immunity this, so we're going to do that.
Do it!
I would know the weight of your soul.
Oh, let's go!
Cheesing! No!
Oh no, I hit it too early. I should have just moved to the other side. You'd think that would be smart, but I'm not a smart person. The music for this played.
Immune for 1, not for 2.
I should have moved, because like the other scale goes, you'd like the thought process would be you just do the other one. But you know,
we even get to the song, but it's fine.
The song played like the first like 20 seconds a couple of times. It was like,
it's done. Yeah, who cares? Okay, then whatever. We saw it.
Go
right.
play the orchestrion role in your in room that you can see over here. You can see like the the orchestrion over here. Like just go. Yeah, just
all right. Anyways, here's Zervin.
A big fan of Zervin.
Yeah, you gotta break him out of his little hidey hole.
Zervin is also a boss here that like you can knock him to 0.1%, but he is forced to transition. So even if you defeat him here, you still have to do the next phase, whether you like it or not.
This is the last extreme fight for Heavensward. It has a big cinematic transition, but you can tell that this is where they wanted to go with the game. And most of the fights afterwards have a big cinematic transition like this. So when we've been talking about how like the game progresses and you see like what the developers have wanted to do, this is definitely one of those examples. Like how bombastic they made it.
I overcasted my meter. I'm a bad Dark Knight. Don't show my T static post, please. I'm sure they're gonna find this anyway, but I play Dark Knight for my Epic of Alexander static and off tank, and sometimes I'm like, oh no, I overcapped, and they're like, no one cares, just do the fight. And I'm like, okay, it's true. It doesn't matter.
Beyond your petty mind.
I love Pentultimania.
Death's gaze is fixed upon you.
I like any songs with violin or piano, and I'm a sucker for them.
Did you play any other instruments growing up? I know you talked about you were playing piano, but
I played recorder in elementary school, as everyone
yes,
did.
hot cross buns.
Hot cross buns. Oh yeah. I tried playing cello for a while in middle school. I was not very good at it, to be quite honest, and I didn't like the way it felt because I was very small as a child. I did not grow to be 5'10" until I was 19, so I was just very small all the way up until high school. So I did not like the way it felt, to be quite honest. But I tried just like messing around with different instruments in band class, but like never really actually tried for many of them, to be quite honest.
But I was saying maybe that's why you like gravitate towards like strings and piano and stuff. Or maybe you're just like a straight up gamer and those are the real emotions get hit by the piano and strings.
I want to say I'm not an emotional person because, like, you know, like people have emotions. You can't, you know, people have different varying levels of emotion. Totally Final Fantasy X-2 reference. It's more like there's just something about the way that it fits in my soul that I'm like, this is it. If I had to like only listen to one kind of music for the rest of my life, like only one instrument, it would be piano, like straight up.
Got it.
I have no qualms that would be.
All right.
Oh no, my auto! I wanted to
10
listen
seconds.
to Infantinity.
10 seconds. It's fine.
I wanted to listen to Infantinity. I thought, okay, I was gonna do Carve and Spit, and I was like, all right, cool, it'll be fine. And I was standing too close, and I autoed him, and it killed him. So that sucks.
All right.
That sucks so bad. I like that song. They're all really good. That's the problem with this. Is like when you asked me about doing this, I was like, you know, I can do a lot of these fights, but we're not gonna get to listen to a lot of this music because they are very short for a lot of them.
I mean, we're still showcasing a lot of it, but it is funny. I mean, it does show you what the real experience is like right now. Like, I know you have like a really high item level for a lot of your classes. Like, you were talking about how you actually do have like best in slot for stuff.
Yeah, like my white mage is 660, my red mage is now 653. What was my dark knight? 644. Like, yeah, I have a lot of the current year because I mean, I play a lot of the current fights.
How long does it usually take you to get best in slot? Like, how many weeks to get up to?
Well, if I'm playing at a static, usually it takes anywhere from 8 to 10 weeks, depending on book drops, what technically is considered my best in slot, and then you need current tomes. So like there is these Allegan Tomestone of Comedy. Those are the current tomestones you exchange for the current tome gear. And then augmenting them takes time. So usually like anywhere from 8 to 10, maybe 12 weeks. So it takes me a pretty long time. And you can only get one every time you do a savage fight. Every time you do a savage fight, you only get one chance at loot. So whether you win something or you don't, that's it. Like, you go in, you do the fight, and you either win the loot on the roll or you don't, and then you can't go back in to do it until the week resets on Tuesdays at 3 EDT, I believe. Or it'd be EST technically now, but 3 EST. So it takes a long time. So if you're playing with random people, it will take much longer a lot of the time. Luckily, I'm smart and I have static, and so
you have friends.
Loot is coordinated, and it's very easy to get a lot of gear. So this is one of my favorite songs in the entire game. We'll play shortly after this transitions. If I don't mess this up, it might take a try or two, because this is actually a pretty hard fight. This is one of the Alexander Savage fights, and we are going to see my friend Brute Justice, as if I don't see him enough twice a week already. This is going to play metal and then metal Brute Justice mode, and when you hear it, if you play Beat Rhythm, if you've been exposed to 14, if you've seen a lot of 14 memes, just on the internet, you're probably going to recognize the song when it transitions, but this fight's really cool. And I ate a current tier food, so I can do a lot of damage, because these lads are chunky. Some of these mechanics you're kind of supposed to disrespect, but also respect, because you need to be able to do a lot of mechanics all at the same time. There's just a lot of stuff going on that, like, if I honestly tried to explain it right now, it would take me a million years. We're gonna hope I did this sectioning right. I'm gonna do this. Okay, we did. So when these robots get down to a certain health percentage, they will do something called self-detonate, and if they do, I lose and I do not get the transition, so we did it right. Cool, first try, let's go! It's actually a lot harder than you think it is to not instantly kill the one in the middle, because it has a buff on it that keeps it from taking as much damage. It heals, but also, like, it gives you a damage down when you don't respect the mechanics, so I have to balance that. So we're gonna burst this guy down, because he is going to do a lot of things to me very shortly, and it's going to be called a mechanic called Gavel. And basically what it does is everybody has a thing that they are supposed to do, and basically if you don't do it in time, when he goes to cast Judgment, you die. You instantly die. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. You just have to do the mechanic correctly. Okay, we're not gonna stand on this. But this song is really cool. I am just a big fan of Metal Gear Justice mode. In front of this, because we don't want to get hit right away. He's at 3%, we're good now. I just like to flip the song for the record of this. I listen to this song twice a week in D-Raid, and I still can't get enough of it. I listen to it over and over and over again for Phase 2, and I love this song a lot. Once the chorus runs through again, we'll put him out of his misery. I feel kind of bad torturing him like this, to be honest. When we come into this transition here, I'm just gonna burst him down and kill him. Like, the floor levitates there. You get a debuff that tells you take more damage if you take more damage if you're on high or low ground, and then you have to be on high or low ground, and then, like, there's like a whole thing you have to do. This fight has a lot going on to it. It's really cool. I'm a very big fan of it. Actually, I think this song is gonna loop twice. I think I let him stay alive for too long. My bad. But I mean, honestly, more Metal Brute Justice Mode is one of the best songs in this game, like hands down. I believe it is in Beat Rhythm. The one that's on Switch. I believe it is. I could be wrong, but I do believe they did, like, they intentionally put it in there. So I just got HP and penalty, healing magic down, damage down. So he's going to go to cast this stuff. He's going to transition here in a second and get his HP back, but basically just have to kill him before the end of this, because he casts Verdict, he gives you Final Punishment, you have a bunch of debuffs. Everybody is supposed to get different ones, but that's not gonna happen. I'm one person, so I have every debuff. So if I don't kill him before he goes to cast Gavel here, it's fail. It is game over, and that is not fun. Ooh,
Yeah.
very fun fight, very good song. I definitely recommend looking up the lyrics. I was singing them because I know them, I've heard them a lot, but it's a very silly song and it's very good. A lot of fun.
Yeah, so that was our Realm of Warren and Heavensward, all our fun stuff. So we're actually gonna go and take a little break while we have our friend jump in. Yeah, so everybody, get up, stretch, hydrate, all that fun stuff. Eat some more turkey or whatever, or turkey alternatives for your turkey day. And yeah, we'll be right back. Hello everyone and welcome back to Face the Music. Yeah! Today we are facing the music of a bunch of extreme fights from Final Fantasy XIV. I'm super excited about getting back into it. We have a new friend joining us to try and kick some more monster butts real hard. I have a couple of announcements before we get started again. Registration is live for Awesome Games Done Quick 2024. If you'd like to attend the event in person from January 14th to the 21st, go to gamesdonequick.com for more info, including attendee registration and hotel booking. Be sure to check out the schedule at gamesdonequick.com/schedule and let us know what you're looking forward to the most. Frame Fatales has its next event, Frost Fatales, coming up March 3rd through the 10th of next year. Use FF in Twitch chat or go to gamesdonequick.com/framefatales for more info. And then if you missed any of our other Hotfix shows, be sure to check out the VODs on youtube.com/gamesdonequick. So now I'd like to reintroduce Varn, our runner, runner extraordinaire for our little extreme boss rush, but we also brought a friend. The friend is the same friend from last week. If you last two weeks, what is time? Who knows? We're playing games fast. I don't know what time is. Anyways, I'd like to introduce again Railcoon, another friend. Basically, Varn and I were trying to get through a lot of these fights, and then we realized we need a good friend to get through the second half of these fights. And Ray was available yesterday to do these, so I appreciate that. I saw that they were online, and I said, hey, what you doing right now? I know you play 14. Want to come, punch some monsters with us or listen to cool music? And that's what happened. So, yeah, here we are. Back again.
Hi.
Yeah?
That's me. I'm here to punch monsters. Well, not really. I'll be playing Scholar, but...
to support in all of our endeavors, and just having the emotional support is great, because a lot of these fights are actually kind of daunting by yourself. There's a lot to remember, there's a lot to do. They're really fun and challenging. Actually, if you're not already aware, you can speedrun pretty much anything you want to. You should go check out the leaderboards on speedrunner.com for Final Fantasy XIV. There is a lot of them. All of these fights, all of these trials, both synced and unsynced, will have leaderboards for them. A lot of them are going to be empty because people just don't submit for them, but you can submit for them. Don't go looking for my times. I don't submit to speedrun.com because I'm very lazy and I have ADHD, so you'll not find them. But there's a lot of them on there. A lot of the mods of the 14 community are pretty cool. there's a lot of people who do speedrun 14. There's been 14 on a lot of events. I've even done I've done some Palace of the Dead, both on here on Hotfix, and I've done it for other events too, which is a whole other can of worms we're not going to get into because I just need to not think about it for a while.
Yeah,
but
and I've done dungeon speedruns on Passion Project before here on Hotfix, so...
Yeah, this is just something completely different. Like, this is, this is what, the fourth category that we're showcasing off of this one game. So there's so much you can do with it. Yeah. So briefly, before we get into these fights, I wanted to talk about the composer. Is Masayoshi Soken is the main composer for all of 14, starting with, I believe, A Realm Reborn. Jumped on previously with 14, but a little bit about the history of our lovely composer. He was actually born in Mexico, so he's got a lot of his influences come from like California rock, if that makes sense. So like he said that like his favorite band is Rage Against the Machine, so like that totally makes sense. If you listen to a lot of like the rock stuff, you're like, yeah, I totally hear that. He started working for Square Enix in 2001 actually as a sound designer, and so what sound design is for video games is essentially everything that's not music. So you're still doing the same kind of process though, because you're making sounds and then they have to be programmed into the game. So 10 years before he was actually like really composing, like he worked on some other like Japanese exclusive Square Enix games. He worked on some Dragon Guard. He worked on Front Mission, I think, and he did a lot of sports games. So he had all this experience of 10 years of, working in a high stress environment and all these different things before he got like the main role as the main composer for 14. So famously, Nobuo Uematsu is the composer for all of the Final Fantasy mainline stuff. A lot, he's a bit older now, so he does mostly like the main themes. And what ended up happening was it was Masayoshi Soken, Nobuo Uematsu, and then there was another guy on the sound team that did like the first maybe 2 expansions. And then Nobuo Uematsu got really sick, so Masayoshi Soken took over. So the first main theme that he was in charge of is actually Shadowbringers, and you can totally hear it. Like if you listen to the main theme of Shadowbringers, it's just like completely like this man was like ready for this to happen. So there's a little backstory on that. Also, he attends a lot of the fan events, the fan festas. He always has like a little a little showcase that he does. He got a bunch of people from the sound team to join a band, and they call it the Primals, and it's just like the rock band version of doing most of these tracks. But at one of the fan festas in 2020, he announced that he actually was battling cancer, but he is now since in remission. But he was recording a lot of Endwalker and writing it while he was receiving chemotherapy too. So, which I think is really interesting if you think about like Endwalker as like the subject matter as well. So anyways, that's our backstory behind our composer, and he's a cool guy, and he plays like he brings out his automaton a lot during the fan events, which is really goofy, and he likes wailing on guitar, but he mainly just writes on piano as well. So yeah, so this is our last fight of Heaven's Word. We just need a little bit of help just in case. This is the
I can solo this, but we forgot to do it. So I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. This is a great fight. It's a lot of fun. This fight is actually very soloable.
Okay.
It used to be a little dicier at 80, depending on if you brought like a healer or something. But like at 90, you just rip it open.
Okay. Raise here for emotional support.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
Because I tested this last night just to like triple check that I had the ability to do that, because I was like, I didn't want to.
I have a question. How come you both chose Miko's as your character?
You want to go first, Ray?
I don't remember. I've been playing since 2.0. We mentioned earlier I have like 9,500 hours. I don't know. They look cute. Ooh.
I actually used to be a Lalafell. I was a Lalafell when I played back in Heaven's Word, and I was a Lalafell again when I started playing again near the mid to end of Shadowbringers. I was a Lalafell for about a year or so, and then I finally gotten through the game because I had quit near the end of Stormblood right before the like last set of all the raid stuff come out, and it was near the end of Stormblood's life cycle. And then I was like, okay, I got through the story again. I'm done through everything. And I was getting through Endwalker, and I was like, or I guess right before it really. And I just wanted to get more into fashion and putting like, you know, different outfits on and accessories and all kinds of things like that. And then a lot of outfits in this game just aren't really made for Lalafels, to be quite honest. Their models are much smaller. A lot of the clothes just don't scale. And when you play this game, and when you first when you buy it, you get a vial of Fantasia, which is basically allows you for free to change your character to something else. And I was holding on to it for a very long time, and I was torn between being an Aura and a Makote. And I was like, I don't really know what to do. And I just basically like flipped a coin and was like, all right, I'm gonna be a Makote. And I then became a Makote. Goodbye, Alexander Prime.
One thing that's interesting too about specifically about Lalafell is that you actually are lower to the ground than every other character you play as. So your hitbox is the same, but you don't necessarily, because you're out of character perspective, you're not necessarily seeing like all the raids. So there's an argument about like what is like the best race to play as a little bit, which is funny. My mom, my brother and I have been playing this game for almost like 10 years now, at least 8. And my mom always comes in. She's like, "Oh, you playing that baby game?" I was like, "What do you mean, Mom?" Because she thinks the Lalafels look like babies. Yeah, the dumb babies. And she's like, "You're playing the baby game again." Yeah, and I was like, "No, Mom, they're not babies. They're people."
They look like little Kokotos, which are the potatoes in this game. But,
so this is the first fight where it's like, I'm required here, because there's a mechanic that you need at least 2 people.
Yeah, someone has to hold the sword and the other person has to destroy the orb that's underneath the sword. And basically, if you do not intercept the sword, you instantly KO. I turned the sound effects back off because I think it'll probably just be better for the rest of these songs to be able to hear them without the sound effects going. I'm going to disrespect.
Yeah. So this is our first fight in Stormblood. Stormblood is a very much more Eastern-oriented for all the different songs you're going to hear. It's a big sword.
Are you gonna grab the sword?
Yeah, I'll grab the sword. Just prepping.
Wild and pure and forever free.
I like this fight a lot. It's very fun. And Riot is a good song.
Do the mashies.
It's funny that I'm holding it up with my book. Should be fine with the X-Cog.
There are also orbs that pop up on the side here that a tank is supposed to intercept and take, but we're not gonna bother. We just gotta get outside. This fight is just really cool. Like I think the arena is, once it fades back in, I think the arena is really cool. And it actually has a lot of elements of some of the other fights. So there's like some dungeons in here. There is a dungeon, Violent Tides, that I think is really cool. And it has parts of that dungeon in the background here, and I think that's just so cool.
That's me again.
It just said, nah, homie.
Is it just gonna keep targeting me since you're the tank? Yeah.
I guess so. I guess that's how this works.
So you can obviously see that we're not blowing things up immediately now. The difficulty's definitely gone up for the expansion. These fights are supposed to be done on level 70. And yeah, it's just taking us a little bit longer. So we'll get to experience more of the music.
I like how some of the sound effects still do a thing, but
they're like, you can't skip this, yeah.
Yeah.
And the bosses always yell at you.
I don't think we need a stack together for that, but I mean, like, solidarity, I guess.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to, I guess, at that point, but even just with, like, you can do enough damage to complete this fight on your own. You just literally cannot do the part where you have to hold the sword up, because you can't hold the sword and defeat the
You can't do
orb.
anything while you're holding the sword except for like mash the button, and if you don't kill the sword, it's an auto wipe.
It's really
Yeah,
goofy
so
because
it's
it's the first fight in Stormblood too. It's the first extreme. And it's just like, nope, you got grab a friend.
Oh, another map!
Number 3,
I already
baby!
have it.
I've got it too.
Oh no!
That's so I need to like actually do stuff in my inventory.
That's fine. Okay, we can talk about what classes do you really like playing right now?
So the 3. What was it? Arise again.
Yeah.
The 3 I like playing is Red Mage, White Mage, Dark Knight. I'm just gonna defense a couple of items so I have space in my inventory.
Well, while Varn's doing that, I've always played Scholar. I like Scholar. It's kind of a job that requires thinking ahead instead of being reactive. If you're trying to be reactive in current content as a Scholar, you're gonna have a hard time. So I like that. I'm currently just doing Summoner stuff. I haven't really found a DPS that I've super clicked with, but Summoners probably the one I put most time into. So
Was there a specific time where you liked Summoner more, or is now the time you like Summoner?
I
Or?
liked it before the rework.
Yep.
I liked the complex Summoner.
Yeah.
It's like I have a thing. I like complex MMO jobs, but like when MMOs get to a certain age, they start cutting out the complexity, and I get why. I kind of wish they would leave like a complex job. Leave the one DPS job that's like harder, and like let people gravitate towards it if they want. But Summoner is still enjoyable. I like the summoning Bahamut Phoenix thing, and I don't really tank that much, so.
Oh man,
those two
look at all your
mostly.
triple triad cards. You're gonna get so much dosh.
I love playing Triple Triad. Please don't ask me about the horrors of Triple Triad in Final Fantasy VIII speedrunning. Woohoo! That is all the can of worms for never. I don't want to talk about it. Do not ask me for anything ever, please.
Yeah, I've
So
also played Bard a lot. But
nice, yeah. For this song, Rise, that happens a lot in Alexander. My brother says so rise up your gravy and your meatballs. That's what they're saying. Rise up your gravy and your meatballs. Yeah. Canonical lyrics, right? Yeah. Has a lot to do with
It's
robots. Yeah.
Some of the songs, like, you can actually just not understand a word they're saying. In other songs, you're like, you definitely know, but you just can't help but not hear it the right way because you're focusing on other things. So your brain isn't processing the lyrics, and you're like, did I just hear meatballs?
Yep. So for this fight, you have a fun button, and you can get more buttons. I really don't remember the correct time to button on this fight.
Open your heart.
She does a couple of mechanics, and basically, like, she'll either go untargetable or she'll target a certain person for a thing, and you have to use it because if you don't,
the cheat code, if you didn't do this when it was current, is when she's got the blue glowing aura around her, that usually means you have to hit the button if you're going to be targeted by something.
Okay.
So if she's doing that and she's about to do the tank buster, the tank hits it. If she's doing that and then one of the big like raid mechanics goes off, then usually you have to hit it there too.
Okay. I was not far off.
I remember the like ability names when I see them. I'm like, oh, that's the thing. Like that's how I remember it. Like,
Everybody calls Chumchala Chinchilla, by the way.
I love that.
Right, that's an off-tank mechanic.
You're
I'm
now my
off-tank.
off-tank style.
Ray, how did you get into playing 14?
The hype around the re-release of 2.0 was pretty big. There was like some people who got involved in the early like beta, not the early release, but the beta, and they said it was really good. So then I picked it up. I was kind of like not in a good place with WoW, but I really love MMOs, so I was like, let's try it. And I was there for the launch of 2.0, and it was kind of a mess, but still fun. And I've just been, off and on since then. So, 10 years, 14, that's why I have 9,500 hours in this game. on just this character, by the way.
I
Yep.
shall free you from your hate.
Chinchilla.
Chinchilla. So now she's got the big blue aura.
Yep.
The next thing she casts, we have to use the Vril or we die.
This will throw you off if you don't use Vril.
I'm not using my 2-minute burst properly at all, but it really doesn't matter because
Yeah, I'm not going too hard on the damage either, just because, you know, this one's one of the easier ones.
Your soul's way heavy.
Yay.
way heavy. I'm not gonna open any more of these to be honest. My inventory's already a
okay.
mess. If I really want the stuff for the descent, I'll just come back and get it. I'm very slowly working on my descent for all my crafters, so I'm just like, oh man, I'm going through all these. I can just get all the loot and descent it. That'd be great. I forgot how much crap there is, so it's a lot to go through. Very slowly working on
the
it.
cards.
The cards too. I don't want to go to the saucer to like dump them every time I get one. So I'm just like, I have like one part of my inventory, like in the upper right corner where I just put everything. And my inventory looks like a mess right now because I've had a bunch of stuff all together. I kind of
You want to show off
Do we-
Tsukiyomi and then try it once?
the song. Yeah, we can give it a shot. I'm kind of still scared of Shinryu, to be quite honest. We can give Tsukiyomi a swing. I like her, and I like her arena, and I like her song.
This is yeah.
Shinryu was a little spooky when we tried it out before.
Yeah.
Can we do all this? And we tried it, and it technically worked.
It was just really.
It was very spooky.
Yeah, Tsukiyomi
I
was
have not done this fight in a while. You're gonna-
was one of the ones I actually did current for a while.
I did this fight once when it was current, but we didn't need anything from it to farm it. I got the clear, and then I just pretty much pieced out on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the mount attached to it, and that's the reason I've like done it so much, is to like help people get the mount. But other than that, like I vaguely remember what to do, but I'm also used to coming in here with 8 people, because you walk in here 8 people and just rip her open and you're done. And, like she transitions and then you do the fight and then like you're good. So I don't actually know how much of the quote DLC end quote we'll actually see. Oh, she's already transitioned to Night Bloom. So Night Bloom's her transition. You actually have to learn this for a Blue Mage spell, fun fact. And you have to do this entire fight to learn it, and it really sucks. But it's a fun fight. Night Bloom, as a Blue Mage ability, puts a huge bleed on things for 30 seconds, I believe, and it has a 60-second cooldown or 2-minute cooldown, something like that. Only to that degree, but
I really like this transition, though. Like, story-wise, it's really cool.
Yeah. It's really creative, really hits home.
Just spamming Art of War because it's overpowered.
I used my melee combo on Asahi, so that way I could actually get my melee combo up to like do the AoE on everything.
Yeah. Rosatsu, my beloved. He's such a good boy.
I love him. His heart's in the right place. God bless. Not a fan of Xenos though. You can get lost, buddy. Goodbye forever. Just, no. I honestly, this might be controversial, and there's probably people in the chat who I can't, see because we're recording this, so I have no idea what any of you are going to say. You can hit me up later, complain to me on Twitter or whatever. But I think Xenos is one of the most perfect villains I've ever seen, because you have zero reason to like him at all. He is not a likable character. There is no redeeming qualities about him. He is evil to be evil, and I'm not a fan of him. I think he's a good villain. I just don't like him.
Yeah,
there's something nice about having a villain that's easy to hate,
Yeah.
and they play around with it a lot too, with just, like him being around so much and being so integral to the story that it's like, okay, you've been essentially with me through a lot of different things too. Like, does that mean we have a bond, or no, you still suck? Like, it's
like,
interesting.
he calls you friend and stuff, and he's like endlessly stalking you, and like, you know, we all have problems, you know, but like, at least I'll address them. But Venos is just like,
I need to drop this over here.
Privileged prince man.
oh, I needed to be standing. Cool. I did not perish. I don't know if we're going to perish or not here, because I don't remember exactly how to do the mechanic right now. We're going to find out. I think we need to be... There's some black rock over there.
Oh, yeah. I messed up my debuffs.
Now I needed the...
Yeah, I dropped my meteor in the correct spot. I just didn't switch at the right time, so I hit 5 stacks right as that came up.
Ah, it's all good. I was looking at mine, I was like, am I gonna make it?
Not yet.
I'm glad I very vaguely remembered that.
Yeah, I remembered where to drop my meteor, which is good, because it meant you were able to survive.
And that's why I'm playing Red Mage, baby. It is exactly so we can like res each other if shenanigans happen.
Yeah, and on some of the fights, me being on healer is very much required, so... It also means that I'm not just blasting the damage, we get to feel it some more.
Wayward Daughter is a very good song, which is the song that I was playing right now. I'm a big fan of it. I just didn't move. I'm gonna be real, I just did not move. I'm just having a good time, honestly. I really like this game. Like, as much as I dog on it, or like, I might make comments about, you know, like...
No, it's like, because you spend so much time with it and you have such a personal experience with it, then you're allowed to dog on it, you know? Because you're like, no, that's not true. It's my experience. I can do whatever I want with it. It's a very personal thing. Yeah, this is by far the best game I've ever played. Like, hands down. I said that when Heaven's Word, when I got through the story. I was like, this is it. This is the best game I've ever played. You know, just with specifically like how they've built the story over time. Like, that's it. Nothing else can like hit like this.
I mean, that's kind of how... So this game in 2.0 and like early parts of Heaven's Ward, until like Alexander Savage came out, I was kind of treating it as just like, I'll pay for a month's subscription to play an RPG when there's new content. You know, I didn't really get into the weekly grind in 2.0 too much. Partially because it was awful at the start, but that's a different discussion.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But like Heaven's Ward is what really drew me into, you know, playing weekly and playing more often. But yeah, I've been playing consistently since 2.0, so I love this game too.
So this song is Answer on High. It doesn't have a lot to it. I think it's one of the more like really chill, more... I think ambient tracks. I don't want to say it is like it's not really an ambiance track, but it's really close. It's like, what if we added just a little something? But this fight itself is just really, really, really cool. I'm a big fan. Also, hello to my cat. I don't know if anybody heard him screaming at me a second ago, but...
What's Kitty's name as we fight
His
a
name is
cat?
Natsu.
Natsu.
Yeah, he's named after Natsu Dragmeal from Fairy Tail because when I got him, I found out he was a little orange kitty, and he screamed so loud, and it... Oh, that's right, I have the roll.
Yeah, you have the debuff.
It's fine. That's what the race is for. Too bad you don't have a shirt button. That'd be cool. It'd be cool if you had one. Cannot touch the orbs.
So,
No orbs touching.
just like in the last expansion with the Warring Triad, we have 3 fights that are themed the same way. Basically, there's all these little baby or big baby animal god friends that are like, hey, can you punch me so hard that I stop being mad? And they want to be your friends, and that's what the fights are.
Yeah,
There's a shockingly accurate description of this story.
It is. The Warring Triad is wild, and I'm hoping they do an ultimate of it. To be quite honest, I'm hoping that that's our next ultimate is going to be
yeah.
like Warring Triad stuff. Because I really just want to have an ultimate fight where I'm making friends, to be quite honest. They're like, you got to defeat us with the power of friendship or something, you know? Because like all the other fights are like, you need an LB gauge, and you need to hold a mechanic until the end, and then they're just like, if we got a Warring Triad ultimate, it would be like, you have to make friends with them or you die or something. Like, I think that would be really cool.
We're having to DPS the tiger because it does a health-based damage thing where if it's got too much health, it will completely blast you, and that still hurts, even unsynced. I think we don't have to catch all of them, but we should catch some of them.
Yeah, the auspices, I think, are brand new to the series, or like some of them they weren't like a whole thing to the Final Fantasy series. And so when I got excited when it was just like, hey, you want to hang out with like a cool cat god that's lonely? It's like, yes. I want a pet.
It's very Chinese mythology.
Yeah.
And they've done some other things in Final Fantasy that are based on Chinese mythology, but not like this directly before.
You literally have a little like temple zone where you get to talk to all the little friends. And then half of them are sassy and half of them are just like, oh boy, I'm so excited you're back. And it's great, and it's just a comfy, cozy time. But then sometimes you need to punch them. Or just, you know, like
challenge.
Airdrop in here. Yeah, go ahead.
But my personal challenge on this is I like to hang out at the edge and see how little I have to move.
Yeah, I definitely did that
He targeted
too.
me immediately, and I was very sad.
I've definitely done that too. I'm just like, I'm so good at this game, just like dodging this, because I like know where they're gonna be.
Hi, Baron.
Hi, how's it going? What if
This
we
is
held
currently
hands
also,
in the...
like, we'd also try to make like fun shapes at the end. We'd all drop and do like the power pose.
I love turning the HUD off for this and just watching it happen, because it's
Yeah.
just really cool. It does say that you, if I go in here, look here, it's like white cyclones, but you also have a thing where it says you're falling. So it does actually, and you just get to come see the end. I think that's really cool.
You mentioned it earlier, but that no-no zone on the edge of that circle is an instant kill. So
Yeah, they definitely started doing it way more with the extreme fights. There's some other ones, like some raids in the... I love it with no sound. Yeah, it's great. Oh no! It exploded so much there was no sound.
Yeah, I did turn the sound effects off so we could just listen to just the music. But this is now a Matsukaze.
I like that his auto attack is just kicking you.
yeah.
This song is a bop. This is a gentle bop, I think.
Yeah, because you don't want to murder your friends. You just want to punch them really hard.
I want to stand close, grab me.
Do I bother to stand in this? He's gonna instant kill
don't
one of
stand in
us.
it.
I was like, he's gonna kill one of us, so I mean, like, we kind of don't have a choice.
I shouldn't have stood in yours. It's fine.
Yeah, but you can, like, efficiently heal yourself, whereas I have Hurt Cure, and it's very sad.
Heal myself, you mean make the fairy do it?
That's true. A lot of the songs in this game will, they'll be like, have different elements of each other or different parts, or they'll just be remixes of each other. So a lot of the songs as you go through and play, you'll recognize from other parts of the game, which I think is just really cool to experience.
So it's like an Easter egg that gets all the, weebs inside of us excited.
Yeah, it's like, especially with these types of themed fights, you're talking about it earlier with the Warring Triad. Like, when there's groups of fights that are tied together story-wise, they'll often be, like, elements that they share in their song, like an instrument that gets carried over, that sort of thing.
Brandon, I love that you took that orb because you wanted your cast to go off.
I was like, you know what? One Volt Tag isn't gonna kill me. It's fine.
It went so slow at you. So funny.
It was drifting towards me, and I was like, do I dare? But you know what? There's something you can do in this game called slide casting, which as you cast abilities, there is a cast bar, and towards a certain end of the cast bar, usually, I'm not taking any of this. You can have it. Towards the end of the cast bar, there's always a time in which you are allowed to move again. The data's already been sent to the server, like it's going to do the thing, and you can do something we call side casting. Not getting a side cast on Red Mage feels worse than on Black Mage, because for Red Mages, it's like we need to cast our spells to build our meter for our melee combo, which are these top 5 buttons I have here. These 3 take meter and these 2 are just on a timer. Whereas for like Black Mage, if you miss a spell, like it sucks, but like your polyglots, your Nokian is still ticking to give you your polyglots, so you still get rewarded every 30 seconds, whereas I get nothing if I don't cast spells. So I was like, I'm not taking that chance. I'm just gonna take the orb raw. Like who cares? It's fine. I'm level 90. Let's do Seiryu and then try Shinryu.
Okay.
I know we can do Seiryu.
Yeah, Seiryu was like one of the first ones that Varan got me for. It's like, okay, I need a second person here.
Yeah.
I'm stealing you.
Yeah.
It took us a few attempts to figure out what our plan was, but should be pretty solid. Especially now that I know I can survive the stack marker.
Yeah, we did this when I was on Dark Knight, and I don't think I need the protection if we have 2 of us versus when I was playing by myself. If it ends up not working out and I die to a tank buster or like something, I'll just switch to Dark Knight, because we know we can do it on Dark Knight, but I think it'd be cool to try on Red Mage. I just think Red Mage is flashier. It is. I actually started. I played a lot of this game on Black Mage. That was my main, both when I played back in Heavensward and even when I restarted this, I still play Black Mage. But I eventually started playing Red Mage, and that's untrue. I was at the edge of that. Okay, whatever. Fine, video game, whatever you say. But Red Mage is very flashy. You get to cast spells, and you have a cool sword. Like,
yeah,
so cool.
You also get to, you get to cast spells, and then you have 30 seconds to, blow your load, and it feels so good to literally just have 30 seconds of, and I slash you with my cool rapier, yes! And then you jump backwards, and you're just like, yes. It's like one of the most, I'm gonna say, visually pleasing rotations that you can see. Like, it's because you know what it's supposed to look like, it's like easier to do, I feel like, or at least for me.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's very cool. Like, Red Mage is just very flashy. Also, the other thing I always don't ever know what to do with myself when I do these showcases. It's I don't know where to put my camera most of the time, to be quite honest with you. I struggle to not to turn my camera in a way to where it looks like where people can actually see what's going on, but not turn my camera too wildly. But also, can I see what I'm doing? But also, does it look cool? I just never know where to put my camera.
You're fine,
honestly. Yeah. I figure most of the time it's okay. I just want to let the people know it's a struggle. The struggle is real here, people. It's very hard.
Yeah, I'm glad you're the point of view. I don't have to worry about it. I can spin my camera all I want.
Yeah.
I love this song and some of the others, just the very cute, obvious music drop that happens on the transition.
It's really funny because I have the sound effects off, so you don't hear the water effect or anything that's happening. It's just silent right now. But a lot of because we're doing a lot more attacks, or at least I'm doing a lot more attacks, there's going to be a lot more sound effects, so I just figured it'd be easier to hear the music if we just turn the sound effects off, so. Song is quite a bop. From Dragon's Wake is such a good song. I was right on the edge of that. I love that for me. I love when I get the cheese mechanics. I always try to see what I can get away with. I was standing on honestly the edge. If I was I think a pixel over more, I would have been screwed. I think it's been really funny. Oh, he's melting on a DPS. Let's go. Absolutely no qualms about damage. I'm just gonna hit over here. I don't care. We're close enough. Okay. We don't want to stand in this together because it gives a vuln up and then it's supposed to hit the next person. And obviously if you stand together, it can't. But it will instantly kill you, even on a tank. Like, you just KO. You don't have choice.
That's why I'm needed to be here on this
Yeah.
one.
I tried this on a tank, and the first time he does it, it's okay because I have what is called a immunity. Every tank has an immunity. They have different timers on them. For Dark Knight, the timer is 5 minutes. He does the second of that stack 3-ish minutes after you use it, so my invuln doesn't come back up. Even on the tank with the shortest invulnerability cooldown on Warrior, you don't have enough time because there's just 4 minutes. You still wouldn't make it, so you physically need another body, which kind of sucks, but this fight's really cool and it's really fun to do with people. A lot of these fights, you end up needing to farm to get mounts, so there's mounts for a lot of the EXs in this game. All of them have mounts attached to them, except for like I don't think Thorn March has one, if I'm not mistaken.
No, there's no mount on Thorn March.
There's no mount on Thorn March.
I think it's the only EX that doesn't have one.
I think so. I thought there was. No, I could be misremembering, but also like had empty no thought. So also trying to hit buttons while talking is actually really hard. To be quite honest, it takes some skill. So some people will like just do these unsynced with like 8 people, and you just come in, you wail on them for a couple minutes, and you're done. One of my favorite memes that I've ever made with some of my friends was when I was still progging the weapons refrain. We were like, oh, we want to do something after raid because we're bored and we're not tired yet. Because we were raiding at like 12 o'clock at night. It was really late. So we did a bunch of mount farming for like this stuff right here. So this was a year and a half ago before I had all the mounts. And we had our meme, which is called Larbies at Starbies, because we did a bunch of these, and we did some of the Omega raids. And there is a fight in one of the Omega raids that is like, he does Larboard and Starboard, and we were very delirious at 3 a.m. and then we call it the Larbies at Starbies party. It's very funny.
Nice axe.
I don't want the axe. I do want the orchestral roll. I don't think I have that one made yet.
Take it
away.
Yeah,
but,
I think that's like one of the meanest mechanics is putting, you're supposed to know like what are boat, terms, but then they just give you larboard and starboard. Yeah.
Starboard. Well, I mean, larboard is left and starboard is right.
Yes.
Like L and R.
I'm told that in Japanese, the kanji they use for that mechanic is similarly confusing. So they did that in English to try and get the same experience.
Well,
and it definitely worked. Because it's really cool because Omega will spin, we'll do the first one, we'll do larboard or starboard, and traditionally in fights, we haven't been doing it because obviously like it doesn't really matter. Neither one of us have what are called positionals. We're not a melee class, so it literally doesn't matter where we put the boss outside of just doing mechanics. But traditionally, a tank will have a boss on the northern side of the arena and will be facing it towards them, and the back side of the boss will be facing towards the party. So those who have who are melee, who have positionals, can get those positionals on the boss. There are attacks you're supposed to do on certain directions of the boss, and it just makes everything just like a lot cleaner and a lot easier. So Omega will start facing north and will do larboard or starboard, and you stand on the left or right. Omega will then flip around and will face the party and then do larboard and starboard again. So you have to do the opposite of whatever it says, kind of in a way. So like if Omega's facing north and he does larboard, you stand on his right. And then if he turns around and he does larboard again, then you have to go to the left because he's going to cleave to his left, but he's turned towards you now. So it's your right, but it's his left. And we did that fight to get glam from it with just like 4 of us. And people were so tired they were messing up larboard and starboard despite me calling it out to them. And we just dissolved into giggles, and this game's a lot of fun. I'm going to switch to
Yeah, go to Dark Knight for this one.
tank. Yeah, there's no way I can do this on the red
No,
page.
we tried this with 2 DPS just to see, and
It does
no.
way too
This
much
is a really cool fight that's very complicated.
It also just does a lot of damage to the tank.
I'm going to...
You might also hear me make a few calls because
Yep.
when we did this before, Varan was like, wait a minute, where do I put the tail?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a 10 countdown just for my blood weapon and delirium.
Okay.
I forgot that it will show my name. That's fine. It doesn't matter.
Also, for the optimization fiends who are watching this, I'm hitting Chain Stratagem because we don't have DPS to sync with, and Varan can just instantly burst, so I'm hitting it at the start instead of waiting a few GCDs. That's on purpose.
Yeah, and because I don't have, there's not an opening attack for me to put TBN on to get to use 3,000 of my mana. Immediately, I am losing a little bit on my first blood weapon because I have no mana to use it on. And it is technically a...
I'll go right.
Okay. It is technically a DPS loss too. Technically DPS loss just to use it even if I don't get it because I could just use it for an attack, so I just might as well just use it for an attack instead of trying to waste it on waiting for it to break. Okay.
I'll just make the next one easier. You can drop on the front if it's on you.
Okay.
And I can get this one on my own because slow health.
I like held a blood spiller for it and everything. I was like, oh, I'm gonna drop a blood spiller on it.
Yeah, they scale in health every time, so the first one I can just solo.
Okay.
This is also an annoying fight because depending on how fast you DPS it, there are entire sections of like 20 to 30 seconds where the boss cannot phase. So you can hit the health threshold and then gotta wait.
And just, yeah, you just have to stand there. What damage? Let's go. I didn't even need a TV. I used my all of my mana on an Edge of Shadow there, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna have anything for this coming up, and I was like, ah, it does not matter. We have shields for days, baby. I should remember to look for the icicles behind me, but I just have been disrespecting them, and I've gotten
And
extremely
then front
lucky.
left. And I'm holding my burst for phase 3 at this point.
Yeah, I'm just building meter. Try not to overcap on mana, but I gotta like build meter.
Yeah. And after the tail and heart, you should transition here.
I pray, oh Lord, do I pray. Please transition, my homie, please. Where's your heart from here?
I'll go right.
Okay. Alright, we have...
Should be enough.
Have meter. Little awkward. Have nothing else to waste on. Oh, it did break. Wowzers. Okay, there it goes. It feels so weird playing without. But
I know.
I think the music's just way more important.
Yeah. So this whole transition phase is pretty easy, and the final phase, we need to DPS really hard before a certain mechanic goes off. Because if it goes off when there's only 2 of us, we die. So we're just going to take it easy on the add phase, make sure we have everything available to just burst the final phase really hard. Force the wings phase to start as soon as possible. But this song is so good.
I love this one.
We can always go different ways.
There was the one time we were practicing it and we both went the opposite way of the first time, and it was really funny. it came the same side this time. Well, look. Can't very much one-track mind. Gotta wait for all of them to come good. You gonna die yet, please?
Hopefully we get lucky on the random placement. Nope. Those are gonna explode. Come towards me.
Yeah, well. Luckily they only do like a couple thousand damage, so it's not too bad.
Here, I'll cure your poison, I guess.
Thank you! I appreciate it. Thank you, benevolent healer, for granting me the heals.
Totally not necessary, but I hate looking at the dispellable debuff.
Yeah, like, I can Essen at this. Are we gonna pop sprint? Oh, actually, I don't have sprint, so we're...
Okay, then no sprint.
I don't remember where I used it. Honestly, I probably just could have hit it, not thinking about it, but it's also way easier to dodge if you don't use sprint.
Yeah, the important part in this is if everybody sprints or everybody doesn't sprint. Because it targets, and if you wind up desynced, then it can be weird.
And you get Volnups, and it doesn't matter too much because I'm level 90, and well,
Remember to move during Ice Storm?
yeah. I didn't last time, and it was very funny. I'm gonna go ahead and just use Living Shadow, because he's not gonna be able to follow me up, and he's not gonna do much damage, so we're just gonna use him here. A glow. Oh no. Whatever could that mean? I didn't move again. I literally was going to move and I just didn't do it early enough. That's fine. Okay.
Should be close.
Yeah, I'm just trying to hold on to some meter here. I will have a singular Shadowbringer coming back up. Big fan of the song.
I can't heal you during this mechanic. The whole point of it. I think I can heal your head though.
We need to attack the...
Just start with one left, yeah.
I can't start my camera right now.
It's fun. Boss is really weird because there's
He
certain
does
places where
not
you
want to
can't
let us
jump down.
off. He's like, no, you cannot jump down.
This cast is the Enrage, that tidal wave.
Woo! Okay, that went a lot better than we did in practice.
That actually went smoother.
Yeah, it's a very fun fight. I love the music for it too. It's very like it has the tempo to like show you how important it is, and to really build towards like what is this obviously grand fight and like a lot of mechanics going on. I'm a big fan of.
It's so cool because it like towards the end of the cycle of the song you have your Stormblood main theme, which is actually part of like your just basic Bagel theme that you're using, and the fact that it's so cool that they're able to make these new themes but lead up to the overall theme throughout the whole series. So it's like includes it. It's such a great way of bringing the feels back from your journey because you've done all this, and it's like remember where you started. And I think it's so well done, honestly.
I was laughing because we got another mount.
Oh,
Yeah, we
okay.
did.
Was that 4?
Another-
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I think so.
Wow. I don't know if I
Darn,
have
too
that
bad
one.
we don't
I know.
need any of them.
Wow. All right.
Don't need any of
So
them.
we can't actually do Suzaku, which was the bird friend, because you need, I think, like 6 people. So we can't actually do that one. Yeah.
Yeah, so the both in the normal and the EX version of Suzaku, there is a there's a mechanic, we call it DDR, but basically she will transition the arena and she will stand in the middle and she will play her flute and she will dance. And then there are 8 circles around the arena, 1 in each clock position, and everybody needs to stand in one of them, and they need to successfully perform and face whatever direction is on the pad underneath their feet. There are also attack up orbs that are coming through at the same time, and basically, like, you need a bunch of people to absorb them, because otherwise she absorbs them, and even on tank, she does just a ton of damage. The first part of the fight is also really spicy and dicey, if you can even get to part 2 with 1 or 2 people, because there are phoenixes that will come to life, and you are supposed to pull them away from each other and then whittle one of them down for a safe spot, but you can't have some of the plumes reinvigorate the phoenixes, because then they become harder to defeat, and there's like strategic places to place all of them. So like in an efficient farm like party to actually get them out, you do need 8 people. You can do it with 6. I've done it with 6. I've definitely done it with 6, but efficiently you do it with 8, and it's just like you can't do it with 2 people. I tried it with 1. Part 1's really dicey, part 2 is impossible. So we were just like, we're not gonna do, unfortunately can't do Suzaku. But Suzaku is a very cool fight. I do like the mechanics on it, and it has really good music, which is really unfortunate. We can just do the normal version of it. I do believe we should be able to do enough damage, but...
yeah, we should be able to do normal. And in normal, the DDR phase, it only spawns orbs for the number of people in the party, so...
All right. Yeah, let's try it out.
It actually
just
makes
missing
it
on the tank
possible to
because
do
it's
with under 6 on normal.
Yeah, I have not been able to do it lower than 6. I've tried a lot. I've even tried with like current gear and stuff, and it just kind of impossible. So
It's just the phase transition. If you let too many orbs get through the center, she's instantly wipes you. So
yeah,
on
'cause she
EX,
does
there is a minimum number because of that transition.
This is definitely a fight
gonna-
that I got yelled at a lot on Party Finder.
Tenzin, 'tis I. Sheathe your sword, I beg of you.
I should save my stacks actually for phoenixes. I think we're probably gonna have some of the phoenixes blow up, but on normal we'll just survive it.
yeah, it won't do very much damage at all, to be honest. I mean, her autos do 3,000, so I'm not really super concerned about it.
While we're, just beating up some birds over here, Rin, did you want to talk about just your little personal GDQ journey and what you do working with GDQ and other communities as well?
Yeah, so I've been speedrunning since 2013. This year has been 10 years of just me being in the speedrunning community, just knowing what it is, doing stuff for it. I kind of got started in doing like live streaming stuff and just general video, audio production stuff pretty early. I used to do I used to go to cons locally to my area, and I used to work with this one specific charity that means a lot to me, because my brother has a disease called cystic fibrosis, and I got started really young, working with them. So I kind of was already in the charity field. So when I started speedrunning, there weren't a lot of speedrunning marathons, to be quite honest. Obviously, there was when I started in 2013, I knew of GDQ because everybody kind of knew of it at that point. But there, just a bunch of my friends were doing stuff locally. Not really locally. It was a 4-hour drive from where I lived at the time, but they were doing an event.
Local to Texas.
Well, actually, I was living in Tennessee at the time, so
Wow, okay.
I was in Tennessee. Is a very long state, so I lived in the middle. I'm from the capital. They were doing something 4 hours away from me, so I had to drive 4 hours to get there.
What is the South? Who knows?
Over here.
Very big.
I can't see the arrows on the ground because they blend in, so thank you. This is DDR, by the way. Your character has a face deduction for this. But they were like, hey, we're doing this thing and we just want to hang out. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I had gone there with like no intention of really like doing anything for them. But I was going to school for computer engineering at the time. And so like, I've always been really savvy with computers and stuff too. So they were like doing stuff and they needed somebody to like set up something on OBS and then like read chat and read donations. So I kind of just did all of that for them. And then I kind of got roped in. I kind of got hooked.
That's so much job that like was just very easy for you because you already knew how to do half of it.
Yeah, and like back in the day, like there are like a lot of like really tiny events. Just really there wasn't a lot of the tech we have now. Like we like speedrunning events have come a long way in the past 10 to 15 years. Like a long way. And I used to do a lot of things for a lot of groups. I've worked with Power Up with Pride. I've worked with Speed Stuff for Charity. I still work with them. I do Lady Arcaders. And more recently for GDQ specifically, I do production for the Frame Fatales events, the all-women's gaming events that GDQ holds twice a year. You heard the announcement about Frost Fatales earlier. You should watch it. It's pretty cool. Also, I do production for Mainline now, so I did for SGDQ, and I'll be doing it again for AGDQ, and I hope to continue to do it for the future, because I think it's a lot of fun. I find a lot of fun in the challenge of putting on a good show, doing a lot of tech stuff. I used to do, like, overnights for marathons by myself. I prepped the runners, I checked their streams, I did all the audio balancing, I did all the cropping, I did all the actual, like, live streaming work. All of that used to be,
machine?
Yeah, on my own computer.
Ouch.
Like I would ingest the stream. I would do like literally everything all by myself.
It hurts.
I did that for many years. Yeah,
oh my god, it must have just exploded. The tabbing out, like,
We're getting to the good part of the song, by the way. So 1 second. Did we miss the drop? We might have missed the drop. Yeah, I mistimed it.
It'll loop here in a second. The song is very good.
Yeah, at least on EX we don't have to worry about the pull-in.
Oh god, yeah. The EX version of this is very cool, and actually this part you're seeing here, where the bird is flying around and hitting these, the way this works in the EX is there are 4 orbs all stacked together like one by one, and you have to dance around all of the like pads here in like out of the order of wherever they're going to hit. So you have to look at the order like behind you. They'll be all listed like up here. And then you just have to dance around them, and I think that's really fun and cool.
Yeah, the DDR phase is much faster, more frantic. That bird phase is much faster, more frantic.
I don't even think we need to... You know what, I'm gonna hit my enrollment just for fun. Not that it's gonna do anything, but...
yay! So still on normal, that took how long?
6:16.
Yep. So, I mean, that's with 2 people, but still, like... Yeah, it's a complicated fight. You do have to go through a lot of the mechanics. You can't just skip it right now. Yeah, okay.
You have to respect them just enough to survive.
Yeah. So we're going to be moving on to Shadowbringers content, which is arguably the best expansion, you can argue.
It's up there.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of it really works theming-wise with the music.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Like, it's so self-contained. So, do you want to do the extremes first, or do you want to take them in order? And we'll do the normal ones. Like, we'll do, like, the order that they came out. And then the ones that we can do extreme we can do, or do you want to get the extremes out of the way and then do the normals? It's totally up to you.
We can probably do the normals and the extremes. What is our timer looking at? Should we take another breather?
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. So, if everyone wants to stand up for a minute, we got, a little bit more time, but we'll take a little 5-minute break and, we'll see you soon. Hello and welcome back to Face the Music. Hello. Hi, this is my friend, the Crystal Exarch. He will be joining us for the next moments of playing Final Fantasy XIV while we do some extreme fights. His head's very wobbly. He's gonna enjoy some of this music. We're gonna headbang to it, I guess. Anyways, I want to tell you some announcements before we get back into it. Registration is live for Awesome Games Done Quick 2024. If you'd like to attend the event in person from January 14th to the 21st, go to gamesdonequick.com for more info, including attendee registration and hotel booking. Be sure to check out the schedule at gamesdonequick.com/schedule and let us know what you are looking forward to the most. Your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, bits cheered on the GDQ Twitch channel help support Games Done Quick Hotfix. If you enjoy watching Speedruns daily, consider subscribing to the channel. And if you are watching on YouTube, be sure to press that like button on this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, go to twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick to watch our shows. All right, and we're going to take it over to Shadowbringers and do some EX fights. Going back to our friends. Hi, friends.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. So a lot of these, sorry, a lot of these fights
not
are
prepared for that.
a lot of these fights are very difficult still. Trying to do them. Basically, you're doing them at level 90, but level 80 is what they were meant to be done at. So there's still not a ton of damage, or there's still mechanics that you can't really like get through. You still need more bodies. So there's only a couple of fights that we're going to be able to do on extreme, but then we're going to showcase most of the fights on normal, so you'll be able to experience it as well.
Yeah, so the only two that are really doable with two people is really going to be Crown of the Immaculate and Cinder Drift. So the rest of them are going to have like mechanics that we just can't power through. We need to respect the mechanics in a way that is impossible with two people. Most of these fights can be done with anywhere from 4 to 8. Optimally, a lot of them are just done with 8 because you want to skip a lot of the mechanics in EX. The Dancing Plague is one of them. This is going to be Titania. She just tore us up. There was like, we walked in and just the first sets of mechanics for the towers just tore us open. So that was like, impossible. There was no way we were going to do that. And we practiced for Cinder Drift, smile emoji. So
Cinder Drift's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be so fun. It's gonna be so bad, and I'm really looking forward to it. But I think we want to do Dancing Plague normal. We're not gonna do Hades because that's a really long fight. We can't do Seed of Sacrifice either. I don't think we can do normal.
Yeah.
I think we need to
You need
do
the tank limit
mechanics.
break.
Yeah.
We need a tank limit break. Emerald would be cool, but we'll see what we're doing on time. So our plan is to do Titania, and then we want to go and do Crown of the Immaculate for VOG 3, and then we want to do Cinder Drift. The last two being Extreme. And then we have a secret hidden last thing we want to end out with. We're not going to talk about it yet, but you'll see it when we get there. So we're going to do Dancing Plague first. This fight's music.
Oh, I love it so much.
So good.
The Pulse remix of this song is so good. The whole music video. The music video of the Pulse remix makes me wish they'd let us do that kind of cinematic camera stuff in G-Pose. Oh my god.
Come and play, for the night is bright and you can sleep when you're
So
dead.
Pulse is one of the albums that is an official remix album. It's a lot more like electronic DJ heavy. Unfortunately, a lot of it isn't available like on main streaming services, which is ridiculous. So YouTube is your best place to go look for a lot of it.
If you
But
do
yeah,
have
there's
the game,
official uploads from 14 channel of the Pulse song. You just wanna
So
listen to it on
that's
YouTube.
so funny because like Apple Music does not have it. Like, and
There's,
I think Spotify doesn't have it either, which is so weird.
No, but there's orchestrion rolls of them. So the Pulse versions of these songs do play at my FC house, which I'm not going to go into, but like almost all of the Pulse versions of every song that's in the game play at my FC house, and I like just hanging out in there most of the time, to be honest. So this song is called "What Angel Wakes Me,"
When you play with fire.
and it's just a very like bright, happy song, and a lot of the story where you see Titania, and I don't want to spoil anything if anybody does want to play Shadowbringers, because it's what, 5 years old at this point, but definitely like you should be able to experience it yourself, I think. But
Yeah.
the build up for this and then the song that plays is just very, very fitting, and I definitely like it a lot. I let my dot fall, wow, for the first time in like 2 hours.
Sick of this cramped old
Your
castle.
I'm
pars.
sick of this crap old castle.
Yeah, it's cramped, or they say cramped, but it sounds like crapped old castle. It's like, what? Is it cramped?
It's Pay in the Forest. I love her accent. It's so good.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
Their accent, yeah. I've been painted by the internet because the pixies are like, they go out of their way to never gender them, but the internet always treats them like women. And
Yeah,
it's like, no.
I try not to, because like not an inherent spoiler, but they make it very apparent that Titania does not have a gender. Like it's a very it's a closing point to the story. So they're like very specifically like, hey, not a gender, or any gender can be like the ruler of the fairies or whatever. So I try to be like they, but sometimes I say she, because it's just like you see the outfit and you see the dress and you see the wings and you think, this is a lady friend, but Tanya
And the internet
is
very
technically-
much just says she all the time.
Yeah. Most of the resources you're gonna find for like the EX version of the fight, or just like talking about it in general, will just call Titania as she, but Titania does not have a gender. They are a they.
Are they gonna do the F-base here?
That's a great question. Did we skip it?
I didn't think you could.
Okay, there it goes.
There we
I was
go.
like, hold on. I was like, yo, Paul, can we
Elbo's
skip
getting really low. Do we have a kill order here, or what's the
I don't think it matters.
All right,
When
here
they're
we-
big, we want to do mustard seed first, and then peas blossom, and then do puck. But this puck's gonna be the hardest to whittle down, and you want to build meter on the other two. But I think for now it doesn't matter. Hello? I have aggro. Why? Sometimes
It's
the
fine.
game just
My fairy's
decides.
just getting something to do, you know?
Gotta give your fairy a little job. A job is a treat.
I love all of Titania's voice lines so much.
They're very good. They're very silly.
Bigger is better.
I'm going to grab aggro on all of them though, because they do kind of slap. So. Once they become charged, we'll feast. A lot of these mechanics are just going to be watch your feet, don't step in the bad. Have you thought about not stepping in the bad? Like, don't step in the bad.
I'm gonna stack this with you.
I gave you TBN like way too late. I'm gonna drop this on Puck, but I'm not going to do anything else with it.
I have a weird question. I know both of you
Yeah, what's
play
up?
a ton. So are there any like opinions about your classes or like your parse or like your rotation that you'll like absolutely like die on a hill for? Be like, no, this is how it works.
I don't think so, because I think a lot of like what I do in this game is it's built on a foundation of like what the community finds.
Okay.
And then from there I kind of do like situational things, because depending on like my spell speed or my skill speed or just like my piety, if I'm progging on like a healer, my mana regen, I'll do something different. But for a lot of it, I will just be like, this is just kind of how I play it. And this is kind of the way that it might be a little different than some people, but it gets the job done, and I do pretty okay.
Yeah, I think you're gonna get a different answer from people who play high-end content, because I've done a decent amount of raiding. I don't do the ultimates like Baron does, but if you're doing high-end content, you have to be flexible. You have to be willing to make changes to your rotation. You have to be willing to like change your playstyle depending on what's going on in the fight. So
There's definitely like a opinion on MMOs that people, get very passionate about. So I was wondering like how that translated to you. But it's really cool that the point of progression is listening to the community, listening to other people as well, and seeing like what's going to work better for the team.
Yeah, if you're gonna play like higher end content and not play things solo, you have to be a team player. A lot of it is you want to succeed, you want the team to succeed. There's a lot of thought that goes into it, especially if you're going to be doing something we call playing a static. You're going to be playing with these people every week, sometimes several times a week. You need to be able to be flexible. You wanna build and grow your rotation and what you want to do and what's optimal for the party and yourself just over time. The one hill I think of anything I will absolutely die on, and I never want to hear anybody complain about it again. I think Red Mage is the caster with the least amount of movement in the game, and I will not be taking any questions at this time. Thank you.
Yeah,
I have played Black Mage
over time.
I have played Black Mage in Savage and in Ultimates. I have played Red Mage in Savage and in Ultimates, and I have a worse time of movement on Red Mage, and I'm dying on that hill. Black Mage has so many movement options. I don't want to hear it. No excuses, play Black Mage. Just do it.
Also with Black Mage, you can go full spell speed, and that's a viable build. So like in Omega 11, Ephrin, you've met Ephrin, during Pano Crater, was casting while we're spinning around the boss, which is absurd. No other caster could do that, and he was doing it on Black Mage. So
yeah. You go so hard in the paint on Black Mage, and you do a lot of damage. And for people who don't play this game, Yoshi Pete, the head producer, he plays Black Mage, and honestly, I think the game is a little biased towards Black Mages. They do the most damage, but they do also technically have the longest cast times. But going full spell speed builds on top of all the movement options they give you, you have 2 sets of triple cast. You have 2 like procs of it, so basically you get to use it twice. Regens every 60 seconds. You have a swift cast, you have a sharp cast, which allows your thunders to be cast with no cast time, and you have paradox, which under ice paradox, your umbral ice, is insta cast, and it's like you have so many insta casted movement options that is wacky. And you also have a personal mitigation called Mana Ward. Guess what Red Mage doesn't have? A personal mitigation. And we're technically able to heal ourselves if we're cure, but no, it doesn't.
We found Varn's button.
I'm dying on the hill. I said it. I'm dying on the hill.
I was waiting for it. I knew there was going to be something. Yeah.
I'm very passionate about it. People dog on Black Mage all the time. And I will say mastering Black Mage is very hard. I have done a lot of what we call parse parties for Black Mage.
Yeah.
Which third-party tools. We're not going to get into it. I'm not going to talk about a lot of that. You can go look it up on the internet. But I've done a lot of high-end Black Mage stuff, and mastering Black Mage is very hard. But getting started is easy. It's not that hard. Just hit your buttons. They glow. Then you hit them. Congratulations.
The ceiling is high. The floor is pretty low.
Yeah. It's like when I go back to playing Black Mage, because I never was proficient at it, I'm just like, wait, I just hit like 6 buttons? Like, there's so many buttons. Like, come on. I gotta be doing something else.
We will need a CD for this one. This is kind of the Immaculate Extreme. Once we get out of here, I will show you how many totems of this fight I have. You'll understand why I normally do not ever do this fight. People are like, I need a mount farm. And I'm like, I will not go for Crown of the Immaculate. You can have fun with that. No innocence for me. But this track is really good. It is one of my favorite tracks in the entire game. It is Insanity. This can be soloed on White Mage, but I thought bringing a friend would be just a lot better, and we'll probably get to see some of the mechanics kind of sort of more as they're intended, because there's 2 bodies to separate some of the mechanics. But the fight's really cool. We're gonna rip Innocence open.
Yeah, it's interesting because like when these 2 fights came out, Innocence was the easier fight with a stricter damage check, and Titania was the harder mechanical fight with an easier damage check. So you're supposed to do Titania first and then go into Innocence. Yeah. But people don't always follow that.
No. Innocence was one of the first EXs I ever really did, and I did this during Shadowbringers. I did this a lot during Shadowbringers. I did a little bit of it during Endwalker, but most of it was during when this was current at level 80. So it's a lot of fun. Big fan of this fight.
so bad at dodging that.
Yeah, so the way ring reprobation is supposed to work, you're supposed to, this is also a tank coaster, and you're supposed to swap here, but we're not going to swap. We're just going to ball. So you're supposed to cut the swords down, and they do cleaves from wherever they are dropped into a certain direction. And you have to also move out for the rightful retribution, so there's a lot. I'll try not
I
to.
dodged mine and I got hit by yours on accident.
That's very funny. I'm gonna go ahead and just use my Vuln.
Yeah.
Because I have I have 6 Vuln stacks. I got hit by a lot of them.
I think you got hit by the swords in the center too.
Oh yeah, I did. Oh, I absolutely did. I went to move out of them and I was like,
Orange just
know how to
collecting
do this.
Cheetos is fine. So if you ever struggled this fight and you couldn't tell which way it's going to rotate, it rotates with the curve of the sword. Oh boy, that's going to be scary.
I should be able to get up and grab them.
I'm just scared because I have the physical Vuln.
In
We'll see,
an
we
ideal
swapped
world,
anyway. See, I took the Thunder Vuln.
yeah, I should have probably actually just have shirked to you in the first place for it and let you take the first one so you can have the Vuln and then I can take it, but that's fine.
Yeah.
On White Mage, you basically just ball the damage. You can just, as long as you do the mechanics right and you don't get clipped by the wing reprobation. We're gonna do.
I was doing the hard mode dodges there.
Yeah. You basically just don't take a lot of damage because you have 2 abilities called Aqua Veil and Divine Venison. Aqua Veil makes you take less damage, and Divine Venison will absorb damage up to a certain percentage of health heal. I believe it's 600 potency heal is the shield. And it can do more if you place it underneath something called Asylum. Okay, well, I only got 3 this time, so I'll take it. We take it. Yeah, but yeah, for White Mage, you can just go hard in the paint.
Oh, that's going to be a problem. How do you do this on White Mage?
You ball. I watched the video a couple times and I got like a little bit into it, but I was very sleepy last night. I was a very sleepy lad.
Yeah, they are not taking damage.
They are just not.
The problem is, I probably could have separated one outwards, but I think you got 8 on all of them.
Yeah. Maybe worst case, we just do this on normal, because it's honestly, which is really funny, this fight is easier in the EX than it is in the normal. It's actually a lot harder in normal. I've moved some of my life. Oh, his Immaculate Authority has happened. Oh no, we'll just do the normal version.
Who didn't think about that? You probably should have dropped tank stance and let me like
drop my
healer
stance,
aggro.
let you pull them. Yeah.
And then you could pull them out one at a time, and I could range them while you're meleeing them.
Yeah. We could probably just do the normal version of it. I don't want to take too much time because I do want to do like I do want to do Ruby Weapon.
Yeah, that one's like that mechanic is doable if we'd thought ahead. We just didn't think ahead.
No, because I watched a bunch of videos says solo it. Because I had anticipated soloing it, and then we got Ray on board, and I was like, oh, we can just do it. 2 people will be fine. No, we did not ball.
I imagine on White Mage you Blood Lily burst before
they come together.
Yeah.
This one is really cool because you got to see his final form in the last one when we did it, but he gets to transform to it. And my favorite is getting this in roulette, and then he goes to transform, and everyone goes, "Oh no, he's hot!" Because you can see what he looks like now. He's a
cartoon character on purpose. They exaggerated everything about him.
He's supposed to be a little silly lad.
It makes him an interesting villain. Like, they made all of his character traits are super exaggerated, not just like physical, but also like the way he behaves.
It's interesting because he's like less of a villain and more of a problem.
Yeah.
just something you have to get past. Be like, no, the entire world is the thing we gotta fix. You're just in the way.
I mean, that's a good way of putting it, because honestly, you listen to even his voice lines, and he's just throwing a fit.
Yeah.
The entire time we're fighting him, he's just being a child.
Which
I
is
should
really
summon my fairy. That would be helpful. I tried to use Fey Blessing, and it didn't work.
That's very funny. That's so funny. If you go to do Shadowbringers, which I highly recommend, the game was on sale up until like a week ago or so. I don't think it's on sale anymore, but it was
on sale
recently
regularly.
Yeah, it goes on sale usually once or twice a year. Not always around holidays. It's kind of random, but a lot of like Reddit or a lot of Discords, or if you're in any Discords that play 14, usually people will be like, hey, it's on sale, go buy it. But if you do get to play Shadowbringers and you get to play story, him being a big baby makes a lot of sense. It's actually really cool. His character is a lot more complex than you think it is, and I'm not going to spoil anything else for it, but I like him as a villain better than I like Xenos. Let's put it that way. It like explodes with light.
Oh no, he's hot.
Oh no, he's hot! That's my favorite every time. And people are like, huh? And then they look up and they're like, oh yeah. I'm like, yeah.
I like the way they do that with like the halo on the throne framing him too. Like, it's a great visual shot.
We'll turn him around.
And then the music kicking in right there too.
Yeah.
And this also has a little bit of a reprise of the main Shadowbringers theme in it if you listen really closely. You can hear the Shadowbringers theme in this song.
I need to turn my camera back down a little bit so I can actually see what's going on. So I cannot see the floor. I was like, oh.
Of course, right as I said that portion of the song faded away.
Yeah, I know.
It'll come
So
back when it loops.
it's mostly the vocals that when they come in, yeah.
Yeah.
This arena is also just really cool. I think it's one
I
of
like the normal version because I can just stand here.
Yeah.
There's a gap.
Mm-hmm. I should have used one of my blood spillers before I just used my burst because I'm gonna overtap on blood, and that makes me a bad Dark Knight.
Let's not talk about me not using my stack sufficiently, okay?
Hey, no one can see what you're doing. It's fine. You are not the POV.
Yeah, no one has to know, but everyone can see my shame while I'm doing it.
I mean, on the next one, I'm gonna have to be ballin'.
Yeah, we both gotta be
Scholar.
ballin', but it's
we both have to
really
push
cool.
our damage as hard as we can to even clear phase 1.
I'm thinking about potting. I'm gonna be real with you.
I bought pots.
Yeah. All right, we gotta do this one first. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna pot. I'm gonna put my pots on my bar because I thought about it after we did it. I was like, oh man, I should use a pot. I have a bunch of them too. I have a bunch of them left over from when I was doing. Well, I mean, I'm still doing ultimates, but I have a bunch that I got for tea. So I was like, you know what?
I've played Scholar a lot, but I've never raided on it, so I didn't have pots for it. So I was like, you know what? Whatever, we'll buy some pots. Then we can ball really hard in some dungeons afterwards.
Yeah, there you go. Just you're gonna pot in dungeons. I love doing that. Like my friends we'll all go for our daily roulettes, which give you like XP, certain tome rewards, just things like that. And we'll just be like, we pot, and we'll pot, and we'll just go hard. And we'll usually do it if we like if there's like 2 or 3 of us in a party and we see like that there's like a new player, which is what we call a sprout. They'll have a little sprout icon next to their name. Like so where you see the crown on mine, there'll be a sprout icon, like a little plant. We'll just pot and we'll just blast through a dungeon, and they're like, oh my god, that's the fastest I've ever gone through a dungeon. And we're just like, yeah, no big deal. We potted. Like we just went really hard. Don't worry about it. That's never gonna happen to you again unless you get some other like people who are maniacal and
How
hot for a dungeon.
how resource intensive is it to actually like either buy or accumulate your pods? Like
Pods
to
take a decent amount of time to make these days because they take some tome mats.
yeah.
Yeah, it takes the last set of tomat. So the comedy were the ones that are the current ones. I used to remember the name of the last ones, and I do not remember.
Philosophy?
No. Causality,
Right.
So, I had to think really hard. I dug in my ADHD recesses for that one, to be quite honest with you. But it takes causality tomes to buy the alchemists that you need to make it. And if you're not running like your dailies, if you're not like doing current content a lot, you're not going to get a lot of them. It's going to be really hard. Usually a 99 stack of high quality current tier potions, the grade 8s, is going to run you anywhere from 250 to 350,000 gil. I haven't bought any in a long while because I haven't needed any in a long while because I stopped raiding a couple weeks ago, or savage raiding a couple weeks ago, which is what I would need them for. Grade 6 and grade 7s are usually anywhere from like about 75,000 to 150,000 depending on what kind they are.
Yeah, so for
Sometimes
you,
certain.
for you to just
what a lot of people. Sorry, go ahead.
for you to just pop them for your roulettes is just like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
So what a lot of people will do is like you do any amount of money making. There's just a couple ways to make pretty easy passive income in the game. Just take a little bit of a time sink. So what a lot of raiders will do is they will generate their income and then they'll just buy their consumables. And then there's other people who don't raid who just they make the consumables and they make money off the raiders, and it's kind of its own like little safe self-contained economy.
Yeah, it's a very interesting ecosystem. So I make a lot of my money based on doing I do something called hunt trains because there are things called hunt marks in this game. Just enemies that have like high health, they're unique, they only spawn every so often. And you just join a bunch of other people and you go and do the hunts and you get these things called, they'll be called like anthro, dendro, whatever clusters. You turn those into materia, and raiders love materia. So every time a new savage tier comes out, I sell a bunch of materia on top of having a bunch of my own materia. Make a lot of money that way. And I also sell rare mounts from like Boja Eureka. I also have sold one. I sold the new Ludentender mount from the Faux Hollows. I sold it for
like
11.4 million. And I was like, I don't want this mount. I'm just gonna sell it. So I sold it, and I now just have 11 million sitting on our retainer.
Okay. So let's.
Anytime I get a limited thing like that, I sell it immediately because like I'll get another one.
Oh yeah.
The price will go down. You know?
Let's try and jump in as fast as we can because we have 2 more things that we want to do.
So this one's gonna be sketch.
Rage.
This is right on the verge of possible for us.
This is definitely gonna be the hardest one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully it's reasonably impressive to watch. Because, it's gonna be hard. All right, Chariot has run away, and
yeah, Chariot is out, and Dynamo is in. Yeah.
All right. So here's the question: the chorus here is it beef soft tacos or big soft?
Wow.
Big hot tacos or beef soft tacos?
It's big fat bulldozer.
I've always heard big fat tacos.
Okay.
Because this song gets
hot tacos, beef hot tacos for me.
like I've always heard big fat tacos, the big fat tacos, the big fat tacos for me. Like that's the way I've always heard people say it to me.
Okay.
Like when I first heard this song, I heard the Heart of Sabik because like I was really interested in that part of the story. And I never unheard it.
The biggest plot hole ever. I remember at the last so Yoshi P was at the last PAX, and he got one of the community questions was talking about the Heart of Sabik and if they were ever going to get to it, and he said probably because I'm sick of hearing this question.
I mean, it's just what everybody hears because they don't hear the Heart of Sabik. And like the thing is that a lot of people don't really pay attention to that part of the story because you don't experience a lot of it through the main story quest. You do a bit and you don't until you get back to these weapons. So you gotta think there's 3 whole expansions between when you first encounter talking about the Heart of Sabik and Ultima. and then get back to this. And the binding coils are completely optional. So those fights that I did earlier that were the coils, those are completely optional. You do not have to do them because they were built for the time that they were created. So they're actually really hard, and they didn't. Ooh, I got hit. They didn't scale well when they've done other scaling in this game. So there's a couple times that they've rescaled fights, and they've actually just completely rescaled damage and health in the game. So the binding coils are they're completely optional. You do not have to do them, and you learn a lot more about Ultima. You learn about Quintania, Nail, Bahamut, the Heart of Sadiq through that storyline. And if you don't do it, you're never gonna see it.
Yep.
So people will hear this song and they'll just be like, big fat tacos. And I'm like, it's the Heart of Sadiq. And it's really funny because one of my friends I also play this game with was at the studio with us for the last Fatals event. And we were talking about the song, and we were talking about things like that. And I was like, I promise you it is the Heart of Sadiq. I will play the song for you and I will point it out. And I did. And she was like, no, it's big fat tacos.
Yeah.
Sorry. I
like beef soft taco personally, just because I like beef tacos. And soft tacos are the best kind of tacos, so...
True, real. I agree. They're pretty good. Big old Ruby Ray.
I'm literally, like, even using dissipation for damage on this fight. Like, I'm eating my fairy for 3 stacks to turn into energy drains to push the damage that hard so we can do this as a duo.
We're gonna make it. We did it. He had like there was 1/3 of the like pass bar passing the enrage. So, but we're almost halfway there on the first Flexiclaw duo here with the
he just
Sand,
goes
so
untargetable during these parts.
Yeah.
We first tested it as like, how far can we get it solo and like, you know, add our numbers together. Okay, we should be able to do this.
Yeah.
And then we tested it once and we're like, okay, yeah, we can do it. Oh, I'm on the wrong side.
Oh, come on, let me out.
Fine.
No, it did not let me out.
No.
I wasn't at the edge of it. I was like, oh, where's the like left-right claw gonna go? Oh, we're not gonna make the DPS check. No, God.
No, we got it. We got it. I believe.
Rage. Rage, baby. Break my TV in, please. Oh, thank God. I was a little concerned. I was like, are you Rages or not?
This is the scary part.
I do not have CDN for you.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay. Baller. What was that for you? I'm just not canceling cut and run. We're just gonna go all the way to the side. We're gonna play a baby save. I'm gonna turn him this way, so no matter who he turns to for the thing, there'll be a pretty safe spot for them. Cause this cleave is wide. Look how wide this is. Whooshoo! It's very wide. Pots are up in 15. I'm gonna hold my burst for my pot. Pots are coming up in 5.
Oh, I just use it on the I use it on the next burst because it's not long enough for like a third pot. Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna. I went ahead and used mine. I don't think I'm gonna get a Sigma. I don't think my Oh, we're on the wrong side.
Or you can set 2 in here. It's fine.
I'll
What you had to do when it was content.
I don't want to talk about doing this when it was current. Because if I do it on the next one, Living Shadow isn't. I don't think it's up long enough before he goes untargetable for the next cut and run section.
This part in the ad phase of phase 2 is just the hardest part of this, though.
It is a really cool fight, though, and it's really fun, and I hope we do get to see the next part and not mess this up, because, yeah, We get to see a friend from earlier. Let's see him again.
Got it, I believe.
Also, just this version of Ultima is so good. I'm a big fan.
Gonna be close.
That death cost me a lot of meters, so that also really sucked. Ooh, buddy. Ooh. Rage.
We've got it, we've got it. Do we? Oh
No! Yay to see it! Oh god, that's so painful.
On the first half of the cast bar.
If I hadn't have died, that was literally my death. That was literally my death. Oh god.
All right.
This fight's long, so we probably don't have time to try it
Yeah.
again,
So let's
unfortunately.
do our. You want to do our little fun thing?
Yeah, let's do a fun thing. Let's just end on a good note. It's,
Yeah.
you know, you can't always win them all, and it's a Varin special to just. I can't be perfect. I'm not allowed to be perfect because I want other people to feel like these things are achievable, and you can do it too. Just don't do what I did. It'll be fine.
Triple legend, by the way.
I only have one legend title. I have Ultimate Legend. I'm in the middle of getting my perfect legend title. I am on, Alexander Prime.
I thought you had 3. Okay, yeah.
No, I wish I did. Like, I am on Wormhole Prog and T. We're almost there. We're getting it. Well, I will have my title hopefully in the next couple weeks. I'll be done with it. But
I'm teasing Varin because Varin is way more of a serious raider than I am. So that's just
Yeah, I'm in 2 Ultimate Statics, and I'm about to be in a 3rd one. I'm about to do DSR too, so we have a problem, and that's okay.
It's just a reminder. Everybody makes mistakes. It's fine.
Yeah,
just learn from them, laugh them off, and you're good.
I've made worse mistakes. So, the twinning.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
The twinning.mp4?
Yeah, the twinning.mp4. Enjoy. I'm going to re-up my food before we do this, though.
So this is a special request from Ray. We're doing a dungeon. We're doing a dungeon real fast.
We were talking about what other songs are great in this game that weren't Trials, and I was like, twinning.
This is...
Oh wait, you can't on this one, right? The door.
The door, yeah. I was gonna say, I'd love to. That would be great. I can't. There's a door right here. They will not allow me to. But A Long Fall is a huge meme in the community. It's a great song, do not get me wrong, but it is a pretty big meme. If you literally just look up the twinning.mp4, it's a very funny.
There's also the Primals performance where they had devs on stage wearing the colored shirts.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That was incredible. Yeah, my healing here is probably just me placing Xcog on Varin, which I've mentioned it a few times. It's a scholar button if you don't know 14. If Varin drops below half health, it goes off and does a big heal. but also at the end of the duration, if Varin isn't below half health, it'll still heal anyway. So it's like the perfect AFK healing button. Just throw it on tank, start DPSing.
And I'm not going to take a lot of damage because, unfortunately, this is one of the roughest dungeons to get in a roulette because you cannot do what we call full wall-to-wall pulls. There are a lot of what we call doors here. So normally in dungeons, what happens is tanks will come in and they will take what we call 2 packs, and they'll usually just be like a set of enemies that go. They're I don't want to necessarily say they're dev intended to be taken one at a time, but for a lot of the earlier dungeons, it definitely does feel like it because a lot of them hit very, very hard. But in this dungeon, you are forced to take them one at a time because, as you can see, these pads light up here, and you cannot go forward to take the next set of enemies, the next pack, until that lights up because you have to defeat the previous one, and this makes it kind of slow. This also has one of the best and my favorite dungeon boss themes in this game, so that's why I was definitely agreeable to do this. I love Insatiable. It is honestly my favorite dungeon boss theme in all of the expansions, the entire game.
Yep. So
Ray was like the twinning, and I was like, oh yeah, let's go. Big fan. This dungeon's also really cool. It has a lot of flashbacks to the Crystal Tower. So if you played A Realm Reborn, you had to do the Crystal Tower raids. They are required. They are the only Alliance raids in the game that are absolutely required. You don't have a choice. You must do them to proceed to MSQ. This is also an optional dungeon for Shadowbringers. This is not in the MSQ. You do have to go out of your way to grab it and do it. The boss will be with us in a moment. Not too worried about damage. But if you don't normally unlock it, you're not going to get to do it. So I think this is one of the coolest dungeons you ever get to do. When I came back to this game, and I hadn't played through Shadowbringers at all because I stopped during Stormblood. My friends who either had continued the game or had played through Shadowbringers, the second I got done, they were like, "You need to go unlock this dungeon now. Like you need to go now." And we all as a group went and did this, and is really cool.
There's also a bunch of references if you've played the game a lot, if you've done the other raid series. Like the whole Tea Kettle thing is a reference to the Omega raid series. There's like these little data logs and there's like Easter eggs all throughout this dungeon. Like it's an optional dungeon that's filled with a bunch of love for the people who've played this game a bunch.
Mm-hmm. People who care about the lore too. There's also actually something really cool that not a lot of people know. There is on the Lodestone website, there is actually like these like mini story diary kind of things. And there are some of them that are tied to raids or dungeons or just tied to characters in general that have like backstory to them. I don't remember the like actual name for them because I haven't read them in a very long time. But if you play this game and you love the lore of it and you haven't ever experienced it, go read them. They're all really good. They're all like they all just add on to the lore of the story and really makes this game what it is. It has been successful for 10 years because of the love and care that they've put into the story. It's not just about the raiding. This game is actually very casual orientated. A lot of the things that you've seen me and Ray do, or even just me by myself or whatever, has seemed very daunting. But actually a lot of it, this game is very casual orientated. You can do all the stuff that we're doing just the normal way. You don't have to do the hard one and still get to experience the story, get to experience everything as they intended it to be. Which I think is really cool. This is a very, very casual orientated game, which a lot of people are going to be mad about. A lot of raiders are very unhappy about it, but it is very accessible. And the free trial goes all the way up to level 70. You get to experience 3 whole expansions for free 99. There's literally, like, if you thought any of this was interesting, almost everything we've done today you can do for free by yourself. Like, you just start the game.
That's what blows my mind. No playtime limit. That's
Every once in a while I run into somebody in a dungeon or something else where their search info says no tells, no friend requests, because they're just still playing the free trial.
It's amazing.
They've capped out level 670 on everything and they're still playing the game. And like this game is like way more story focused than other MMOs, so if you like story, you like lore, you really like that in your RPGs, it's a good place for it, which I think has drawn a lot of people.
Yeah, it's definitely if you're new, it's a take your time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like a lot of this game is also there's doors to everything too. So like you see that there are these there's these doors here. Almost everybody in the game will wait for your cutscene to be over. So a lot of these fights open with a cutscene. Mine don't play because I have it set to, if I've seen a cutscene, it does not play.
Yeah.
But there are cutscenes that play, and so many people will just wait for you. Almost everyone does. It is the thing to do.
Yeah, it's considered really rude if you don't let a Sprout watch their cutscene. Sometimes people even yell at somebody if they pull early. I've seen an Alliance roulette wipe on purpose when somebody pulled on accident because the Sprout was still in their cutscene.
I've let people die on purpose. Like I've seen an entire, and so like for Alliance raids, there's 24 people in the raid. There are 23 other people, I mean, I guess excluding a couple Sprouts or so, that unanimously will just walk outside of the arena and will let a person die to mechanics so the Sprout can continue to watch their cutscene and not feel rushed. Like, this game is all about the story, and a lot of the things that we're doing are cool, but they're so much cooler when you understand the story and the lore and the mechanics behind them. They all have a history. They've gone through testing. Some of them have gone through adjustments. And I'm actually just really glad that Kara asked me and us to do this, because when I learned that Kara had the show, I was like, oh, I don't really play any like musically inclined games or games that I think have like a lot of cool music that like I haven't done a lot of already. And then Kara was like, hey, but what about 14? I was like, oh yeah, you're right. You're so right. And I keep forgetting that, like, or maybe not forgetting, but sometimes I just don't pay attention to the fact that there's so much music in 14. There's a 10 plus year history to this game, and that, you know, there's a lot to do. And please play this video game. Like, everyone jokes about the critically acclaimed MMORPG, but like
it's a little rough to get started, I won't lie.
Yeah.
The slog from
slow.
ARR to Heaven's Ward's pretty bad. My best advice, because a lot of people don't get past it, is do not rush it.
Yep.
It's long once you hit level 50 to get to Heaven's Ward, and people just try to blitz through it and they burn themselves out. Like, when you get to that point, if you haven't played it, just play a couple hours, put it down, come back, take your time. You will burn out if you try to blitz through it.
And then you won't be able to stop playing after that.
Also play with a friend. Like, a lot of people I know who have played this game and got started because they had a friend who was interested, and they were like, oh yeah, I guess I'll play this game with my friend. I don't have a lot of interest in it, but you know, that's whatever. And then they end up being the one who sticks with it. And you know, I'm raiding with people who got started in the game just on somebody else's whim, and they didn't want to play this game themselves, and now they're, you know, 4, 5, 6 years down the line now playing the game, and their friend stopped and they didn't. So
these kettles are so funny.
They're very
It's a
hilarious.
reference to a very small story point earlier in the game, but I know a lot of people who made a new character to play with a friend who wanted to start the game just so they could do the story together. Like,
I definitely don't have alts that have done that. No, definitely not. Nope, that's not me.
I don't have 3 alts.
It's
No,
like,
shut up.
I've definitely had that experience. It's like you want to share the passion that you have with this game with somebody else, and then you're just like, come back to me when you get to this point, and then you're just sitting there and you're just like, okay, explain to me what you felt when this story moment happened, and you're just like, yeah, it's awesome. Oh, it's so cool. And you get to experience that again as somebody else experiences that, and it's just like,
Yeah, it's so rewarding to like do something like that with a friend and like get to experience it together. And even if you don't stick with the game for a long time, you like I said, you get to play 3 whole expansions for free. Like, I thought that was a raid wide and then felt silly. I stepped
You
in
popped
one.
one.
I'll pop it.
Oh, now you're gonna pop them all just to collect the
Just to
Cheetos?
spite you. What damage. But like you get to play a majority of this game for free. That's how much the devs and the people who have worked on this game like really love it and really like believe in it, because they want people to play it, and it's been out for so long that like people should get to experience it. And it's definitely like a Final Fantasy game. Like if you like lore, if you like story, if you like just RPGs in general, even though it is an MMO, there is actually a way to do all of the story dungeons by yourself with trust now. So you can't play by yourself. If you do not like to play with other people, you can do a lot of the content in the game with trust.
Yeah, they're just like NPCs.
Yeah.
They're not the best. They get the job done. It's just a little slow. But
If you really don't want to play with other people, they definitely get the job done. But
one of the people I was playing with, like, they're having to queue into dungeons with random people was their least favorite part. So, like, I get it. There are people
Go
who
get more
want that.
stacks. You need to have like max stacks.
I mean,
They're
they're about to fall off,
I know.
unfortunately.
yeah, I realized that there was another thing to grab them
Yep.
up way too late.
Yeah.
Rip my
Not
good
even
boy
getting
stickers.
16 stacks, Varin. What the hell?
I failed you. I'm sorry.
While we
get
close
here.
this out, is there anything that you want to talk about? Do shout outs, all that stuff as we finish out?
Shout out for having me. I don't really stream. I don't have anything to plug, to be quite honest. I just really love this video game, and I think other people should play it. Definitely, if you... I mean, you heard the announcement earlier. Please watch Frost Fatales. It is going to be really great. I think the submission's just closed, so we actually don't really have a schedule or anything yet, so I can't hype that up. But it will be really great. I love working with the community. All of the women and femmes that we have in the community are extremely talented, and I'm extremely blessed to work with them every event. And so just please definitely watch Frost Fatales as it comes up. Watch any of the Fatales events back in VODs too. They're all really cool. Also really excited for HDQ. Watch that too. Or come, you know?
Yeah.
Registration is still open, so you should come to HDQ and you should come hang out.
Yes, all of us will be there, so come say hi.
Yeah, we will all be there. I will be working, but I probably won't have a lot of time to hang out. But if you go to HDQ and see me say hi, I definitely like saying hi, and I will talk about this game forever. Thanks, Ray, for joining, and thanks, Kara, for inviting me. I love this game, and I will never stop talking about it until someone makes me stop. So I'm gonna pass it off to literally anybody else.
Watch Frame Fatales.
Yes.
All right, yeah. And thank you, Richard. We want to point out that Richard is our producer for today and is pulling double duty so everyone can have a nice Thanksgiving. So, thanks everyone for... All right, yeah, gotta put on the good song to close out the end. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. I'm so happy we could showcase a lot of music. Thanks for doing all the extreme fights. And thanks for being available. Ray, you came in clutch. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone. I'll see you in a couple weeks. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you. Thank you.
Echoes of truths that once rang clear.